I've traveled around the country, I've seen the dusty plains, but I'd rather be back home again, avoiding all the rains. Sat around the table with the culture running deep, with a harvest in the jaws and promises to keep. Give me a home out in the bush, please, with lots of more trees, a bong or two, me mate Wild Roo and the rest of the crew, with Timmy, Tink and Mark too. We've got a strong culture and some good stuff to share, with the microbial plan and the science in the air. Got the masters of the craft and the crew's all there, in me old smoking chair. Give me a home out in the bush, please, with lots of more trees, a bong or two, me mate Wild Roo and the rest of the crew, with Timmy, Tink and Mark too. In the old smoking chair.
G'day champions and welcome back to the Terpene table. As always, the crew joins me at the table, so let me quickly check in with them all. So Tink, how are you today? Beautiful, blessed fairy growmother.
Hey man, it's great to be here.
Timmy, the bear blazing a trail. What's cooking in the woods, my friend?
Just pouring about, blazing trails, finding little mushrooms, just happy little bits to germinate my dreams.
Just a beautiful little foraging bear. And last but not least, Mud, how's the dirt sniffing been treating you this week, mate?
Really good, mate. Been super busy, getting things done, but can't complain. Any day that I'm spending with our plan is a positive, mate.
Sounds good to me, mate. All right, well, today we have a super special guest, someone I think we're pretty lucky to coax into a chat. DragonForce, a mutant breeder and enthusiast, straight out of the Discord. So welcome, mate. And
Yeah.
There we go, guys.
we're going good.
Hey, good to have you here.
So first question for you, mate. How did you end up getting involved in cannabis?
Oh, that started a long time ago, probably around 12 or 13 years old, to be honest. Yeah. Had a lot of mates, dads and all that, they grew some, or they were smoking some at one point, and that's where it started, really. And always been an interest from that point onwards. Yeah.
So it started as a bit of an admiration, then a consumer.
Yeah. At first, yes. I just seeing how things were done, and then progressed on to smoking, and yeah.
Do you remember your first plant? Like, what was the first thing that you got super excited about?
My first one, was probably just some stuff that was like like old bagweed, mate. Like just seeds full of it.
The joy.
Yep.
Got a seed out, started some, tried to grow it down the local creek. Everything was going well, and really excited about it. And then we got a flood through there.
Oh,
It's Australia for you.
Yeah.
it's better than a rain. Yeah.
How long were you smoking for before you got into the other side of things, the breeding, the genetics?
Or even just the growing.
Yeah, even just the grow, exactly, yeah.
even just the growing, well, pretty much everywhere I've moved and lived, I've tried to get a few in. Bit of a break here and there, but it's been more advanced now with all this technology, for sure.
Yeah.
Compared to when I had trying to do my first indoor was one was like one of those old it was a downlight, just with one of those screw-in bulbs, and I put it on top of like a bin. I cut a hole open and had like a bit of a fan in there and tried to do it that way. And then someone else came along with it was like a satellite dish with one of those metal haloid lights.
Yeah.
Right. So I
I
hung
remember.
that up and yeah.
I remember.
Chinaman's hats, we called them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And that put out a lot of heat. And yeah. So
How'd that go
it
for
was
you?
good. Oh, well, I went away for a couple of weeks and I came back and everything was dead. Like I thought I was good enough. Like I thought I tried to organise someone to water them, but that didn't happen. And they were all nice and healthy and good, and the old black plastic in the room type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you went for it, but just
Yeah.
still weren't. When were you first sort of successful with your first grow? When were you really chuffed with what you would have achieved?
that
And do you
would have
remember what you were
been.
growing?
Yeah, I do remember where the seeds came from. They were actually some from the Cloughs area, and it was how's the best way to describe it? Like a tropical fruit juice.
Ooh,
Like,
nice.
yeah, it was quite different.
Yeah.
You know?
Very different.
Like,
Yeah.
some
Some sort of local cultivar that had been hung around from the Coughs area.
yeah. Like I've still got some of the beans. Like, so figured well that was shit. Over 20 years since I got those from that guy. Right.
It was probably in a stage where we didn't have fruity flavonoids in our cannabis, so it would have been really exciting.
That's
20
what I
years
thought. Like
ago.
it was completely
Yeah.
different. Well, yeah, it
Yeah.
was completely different. And what I found with some of them, they were really compared to what I was used to getting out of what bush was around.
Mm.
These were heavily trichome covered. Right. So
Yeah.
it's something different that I haven't seen before. Right.
So that's probably what we'd say was the point that sparked your sort of curiosity into obsession.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
What colours were they? Were the flower and whatnot? Could you explain that a little bit? Because I'm curious about it.
Mostly just there might have been a bit of purples in there, but nothing major. Mainly all just green, but it had that really fruity tropical, and yeah, just like nothing I'd ever seen. Like some of the flower was that trichome covered. It looked white. Right.
Yeah.
Around that time, you wouldn't have really got things that were, trichome, frosty, and sort of, covered like that with that profile, because that's an odd sounding one. It doesn't sound like one that was, around an awful lot then. And, there would have been a lot of Asian ones coming in and a lot of things like that. But that purple coming through with that high trichomes and whatnot, that's interesting.
Yeah.
For back then too, yeah.
And Dragon, do you think there was more of finally we were getting some density in the buds? I noticed with a lot of the difference, like I'm not downing the bush smoke at all because it was there, but we weren't getting the density in the buds. Light, very airy, more type of consistency way back then. And then all of a sudden we were getting these chunky buds. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so some of the stuff I remember was it was they'd gone and dug some up that had been buried in a barrel somewhere.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
just tasted like dirt.
Dirt.
Like,
Oh,
The
God,
worst was the
what a
gravy
disaster.
one, I reckon.
Yeah, throttle them. Like, kill the weed, man.
They'd like roll it in like gravy fucking powder or
Grey
something.
box or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
Imagine cutting flour, right? That's desperate.
Isn't it?
it was just, I mean, it was just like dirt. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they weren't even decent sized flour. It was just like solid little pebbles. Like they, yeah,
Wasn't good at all.
not much effort, or they'd just been left too long, and it wasn't airtight. So chances are there's probably a bit of mold in there, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It had that smell, didn't it, man? It had that smell.
yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah,
old compressed
yeah.
clay. Oh, it was nasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to buy a brick? Yeah. No, thanks.
That's it. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Exciting times.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of that's still available and people just don't know any better. So the more
No,
we can
that's
chat
right.
about it and the more open we can be, then hopefully we
Yeah.
can change that for some people.
Yeah.
That's the thing I pointed out to some mates and family members, when I've got some mad flour, and I said, give me a look. They'll show me, and I'm like, that just looks like a hairy orangutan, mate. Or, that's PGR.
Yeah.
It's,
You got some really dense bikey buds. Yeah.
Yeah. Chewy. Yeah.
And that wasn't that was earlier part last year. Like,
Yeah.
like it's still prevalent and present. Like,
Yeah, it's still
and I
floating
said, that
around.
is
That's
not, it's not good flour.
No.
So
No,
that
it's
is
bad.
not
Bad
good.
for you.
Go
Yeah,
into
it's
the
bad.
back cupboard and go, here, this is some good flour.
Yeah.
Learn them a
Quality
thing
issue.
or two, mate.
Quality issue across the board, even not just on our side of things. There's brick weed everywhere right now. I think even the med side of things has got some pretty poor quality.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Nasty.
It's why like people with the passion that you have need to be like brought out more into the community, because
Yeah.
it's the absolute change that just people just don't realize is actually out there. There are every walks of life just striving for better, just bettering the whole scene, the flower that we get, and the passion is what flows through that. And until people trade in that 4-pound plant for the actual passion and enjoyment and support the people that do, it's a shame to hear and see that it's still getting around.
Yeah, well
I
said,
think,
mate. Because I reckon you could cut a pound, and bring it down to a 3-pound and have a perfectly, great product. But
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's
and
time
also we can across the board, legacy medical, stop importing it. Perfectly capable people here.
there's plenty of talented homegrown.
Oh, big time. Yeah, it's about time we looked at quality over quantity, because you end up with an amazing amount of quantity but good quality. You've just got to get it right. Yeah, it's not about the nameless buds anymore. We've got so much to work with. Like, seriously, legacy.
Well, look at like what Poto's crew in New Zealand are doing over there at the moment. And, their whole facility's dedicated to hunting through genetics. So they're strain hunting all this stuff that they can find locally, and trying to find all these terpenes that otherwise have been lost. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's something that more people should be doing.
Not just lost, but genetically. Sorry, mate, you go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. You were going first, Barry. You're right.
Not just lost, but genetically developed in those regions over time. Differentiated from other populations and whatnot.
Yeah, that's exactly right too.
Like
not
certain
necessarily
expressions
what we'd call a land race, I guess, but yeah, their own expressions. Yeah,
definitely need a modern word for a cultivar worked from genetics dating back from a region that are specifically for that region, because land race doesn't fit, but it's definitely on par with it.
it's teetering, isn't it?
It is definitely by the actual definition.
Correct.
I
Yeah.
like the thought of like grassroots, like thinking back to that Coffs Harbour strain that Dragon was just mentioning before, like a grassroots, like somebody found this is like, you know what, this is it, and it's ended up in his hands and sparked a whole lineage of creations, and
Yeah.
like grassroots is good.
Yeah.
Definitely, it is. It's where it's born, isn't it?
I got given some Durbans, and one that in particular stood out more, and it was like a what could you say, like a Korean barbecue type smell.
I know what you mean. Yeah, like a stir fry,
Much,
sort of like.
yes. That smoky barbecue.
Yeah.
It's nothing like I'd smelt before. I was like, wow. Like, and one of the ones next to it from the same lot, completely different.
Wow.
It's beautiful how that happened, isn't it?
Yeah, different pheno. Love
But,
that.
I'm getting secondhand
typical
munchies
express-
just thinking about it.
Oh, I'm just reminded of how much I sniff my fingers. I just do.
Isn't that such a joyful thing?
I do.
Just don't get them stuck up your nose.
Yeah, I got a
There's
few
another
sticks.
thing I do with like
Uh,
stem rubs. So like to get to see whether they're the same, because you could have some from the same lot or like 3 different lots. Like I did a while ago with 3 different lots that had the sour diesel part in it, but they were all different.
yeah.
So it was completely different. One stood out more than the other. There's another one that I've grown part sour, part something else, and it was as a male, it was putting out that smell like it was in flower.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful when you come across
Wow.
one of those males like that?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when the pollen smells as well. You don't find many of them.
No.
Something special. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Because not all males do that, and like some go real lanky, and there's not much in the ways of
Very much.
pollen.
Yeah.
They grow more like a milk thistle. Right?
Yeah. That's medicine. Oh, that's such medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
for
they've got a
my-
job to do. Yeah. Like they know they've got to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From my understanding, the amounts of levels of THCA in a male versus female plants is quite outstanding. And THCA is your seizure fighter, it's your cancer preventer, cannabinoid. So stuff like that excites me. When you say there's like sap coming out of it, it excites me, and that's exactly what I start thinking about. Yeah, it's good. That's, this is exciting stuff.
Why that doesn't
Not-
transfer
not-
over.
Sorry.
Well,
You go,
depends on what you're crossing it over with as well. Whether are you finding that they're from regs and that male's come from a lot of regs, and then you get the female that has the same type of smell of phenos of so like chances of it transferring over, doing it to herself, but going over to another one adds a lot of different genetic structures and everything too. So that throws a lot of different things into the mix. But if you could lock that in with that male and that female, because I've had male ones trick me up until late stage, and then they look like they're females because they're not growing like a normal male.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's full of sacs.
Yeah. And then overnight they're open. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Interesting.
on your journey, Dragon, like, is there any type of like resources or communities that you found like helpful, like kind of learning and explaining? I figure there's probably people listening to this podcast now, and they're like, how do I begin, and what should I be reading and looking for, or is it just more like just get involved and just trial and error, like on your way through? What would you
I
say?
did a lot of watching of videos and that. The builder soil guy, a mate of mine, talking to them, other people that have been doing it a lot longer, and you know, because growing up, even as a young fella asking certain questions, a lot of the older guys didn't tell you anything.
No.
They didn't like to. They just it was all hush hush. You know, we don't share that information. We don't do that. Like,
Very.
you know, so it was learning a lot on my. But Taz helped me out a hell of a lot as well.
As
You know,
as in
so-
Taz Genetics, Taz Genetics
Yes,
19, we
yes,
know him
yes,
as on the
yes.
server. Yep.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Helped me out a hell of a lot, and others.
So
Yeah.
networking, you reckon, is your main key point there?
Anyhow, they're asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions
Yeah.
either. Like, you know, there's no dumb question.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's plenty of dumb answers.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, like,
Yeah.
we won't go there with the Reddit stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
Reddit's not a good one. Not when it comes to
Not a
cannabis.
reliable source. Yeah.
No.
A lot of misinformation. Yeah, yeah, no. You find gems. So you can find gems wherever you're looking or however it is. Like, you know, there'll be some, and not even excuse the pun on word, nuggets of truth. Like, you know, in that you can take from that. Like, and just reading up on things, like, and if, like, some people like ADD or ADHD or on spectrums of autism or stuff like that might not be able to read it, but if it's explained differently and take the time and put steps out where they can look at different steps on how to do things, it makes it easier.
Well said. Yeah.
Brilliantly put.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't
Yeah.
agree more.
The visual
Yeah.
side of it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. You
And the
put a
voice as well,
visual
visual
thing.
voice, everything, the
Yeah,
combination.
visual
I
voice.
couldn't agree
Yeah.
more with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, beautiful advice. Not everyone learns the same way, and that's text format
Yeah.
isn't always the best, which is, again, why we're doing this podcast. So people can
Yeah.
just tune in, have a listen, tinker in the garden while it's on in the background, and
Not
Yeah.
everybody has the time either. A lot of
exactly.
busy people out there.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's right.
Yeah, so put us on while you're driving to work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're good value.
You wouldn't cost anything either, so there you go.
Yeah, that's it.
And you learn
So-
something.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Dragon, mate, when did freaks come across the table to you? When did you start noticing freaks and things like that?
Well, actually purchased some ABCs and freaks and other Dutch foots and that quite a while ago, and they just sat there for a while, and you know, I got some more sent to me, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to try some of these, and I was really impressed with the first one. Like, I thought, you know, this is all right. It wasn't that big. They,
What impressed
you
you?
know, sorry.
What impressed you about it?
Oh,
It's
more so
personality.
that looking at that trichome production on it.
Yeah.
Right, was, and I at the time was only using the Nitro Plus and Hydro Plus from Bunnings. Right,
Right. Nice.
so not even, you know, it was just
Basic
run of the
needs.
mill stuff, like,
Yeah.
you know, like basic
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know, and it still did it. So that's where it goes back to not so much the nutrients, but the genetics.
Yeah.
If the genetics are good to begin with, then it's obvious that that's what it's going to do. Right.
Yep. And so that was a freak of some description.
That was just a freak show. That
Okay.
was just plain freak show. Another Aussie guy had made more of them from what he already had, and he'd done some as fems, right? And then sent me some.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, that's all right. I'll give them a go, And they just sat there for a little while too, but then it got me into it because he sent me some of those, and then some of the berry freaks, and looking through them, and that's where I got into that side with the Well, see, let's go back to the start. So the Freakshow and Grape one was
That's
sent
Grape
over
Sprinkle.
from a guy. Yeah, it was sent over from a guy in America.
Hmm.
That had he just said, "Oh, here, if you want to try some, I'll send some to you." I said, "Yeah, no problem." So tried those. There was that heavy serration in some, but at this point, they were still 75% photo, 25% auto. So what I did was let the autos flower out because that's still going to give me a heavy indication on what the flower is going to be like. And then found the photos in them, but then found the more vigorous looking one out of the lot. And that's the one I decided to take the clones from and do the reversal.
Right.
And I did a reversal to make some more of those, but then also took some other clones and got the male because there was a few different males in the berry freak, but they weren't all vigorous. Like some were quite spindly and tall, and they weren't. But then there was one that stood out more that had a nice purple through it in the stem. Just the smell was coming out, like I said, with one of the other ones. Like
It was
and
really
it just stood.
expressing odors and things like that as a male.
Yeah. So it just stood out more. So don't like to do it, but I culled the other males, got rid of them, compost. They'll be right. They'll get reused.
They're giving back. That's right.
That's right. And then just kept that and then put those in with there and put it over. And as you can see now, like with what I've done, is it's produced two different type of leaf traits and one that looks more like the Freakshow grape where it's got that heavy serration. So it looks, but there is, if you notice in some of the pictures of the leaves on the ends of on the stems, there's some that are purple and some that are green. So they're different phenos again. So the purple ones would be leaning more to the berry freak side of things.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've got the what you've called, or you've named them as your V1, your V2, and your V3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So for those of you listening and that haven't seen Dragon's work, you can jump in the Discord, and he's pretty regular at posting photos with his work, and it's pretty interesting to watch some of these
Very
different
impressive.
expressions.
Very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you won't see expressions like this many places. He's got some interesting ones.
Now, well, the whole idea behind that was too, like, let's look at it. It's got one freak show type going over another one that's got freak show in it. So then wouldn't that double up on it?
Yeah, well, it's definitely doubling down in some way, whether it's giving you, a higher chance at rolling the dice of bringing those traits out. Yeah.
So you look at it at 75%, being that there's only three different types of variation out of, say you put so many in, so many were like this, so many were like this. So then you see that, okay, and freaks and stuff, mutants and stuff like that show very early on, even in seedling stage. Right. So it's easier to define when they're going to be mutant or not. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So
They
Yeah,
tell
well,
you
they
that-
expressed their leaf trait early. Sorry, Mud, I didn't mean to cut you off.
you're right, mate. So these
Yeah,
particular. Sorry, mate. You go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I was just going to say, yeah, very early on. Yeah.
Yeah. So this particular line you're talking about, what would you say the separation in percentages was between the different versions, as you call them? Because that's interesting. So, like,
You have
how many? So, how
Are we
many
looking at
different
like
variations do they throw?
33% of
Yeah.
each one?
Yeah, is it
Or-
a clean third split? How are you looking at that? Is there one that's showing dominant, or what? Which trait's sort of showing through? Which version showing through the most?
No, all three came out. So there was 6 put in, and there was this percentage, this percentage, this percentage, and that's how it came out. There was the V1s, which are more like the feathery type ones, like that you've seen, like the V2's more like a fern.
Yep.
Then the V3, well, that's just simply a higher serration rate in it. That's been transferred through from the mum side, because as you know, they're only F1s.
So they are all
So
from the same. They're all from the same parents, then. So and
yes,
how many of each versions did you get? With how many you planted? Did you put 6 in? Did you say?
put 6 in, and
And
it
got
was
3 different variations across 3
3
different
different
plants.
variations. Yeah.
Oh, there could be a lot more in there. Okay, wow. So yep, wow, very good.
So I could have done more, but my focus was right. So from memory, I think it's the V1. I'll just So the V1 had the I think it had the purple stem. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's looking for
Just going
notes.
back to some pictures to yours. Yeah, going back to the notes. Yeah, I try to keep notes and everything, and keep track of all this. Right. So
Love a
so
good
the
notebook.
V1's got the purple stem. The V2 doesn't have the purple stem, but it looks more like now less of a fern and more like a peppercorn type.
Interesting.
Then the V3 has the heavy serration but the purple stem. So that's showing me, because the berry freak was the one that had the purple stem that was more present. So you can tell right now that those two are leaning more towards the berry freak side. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
But
good marker. How early does that show?
they'll have their own unique profiles, terpenes, but what it is now is trying to lock those traits in, and because to
Yeah,
get those
do
in,
they show early, like the aromas and that? Does that show early in flower, or does it have to wait till late to express? How do
on
freaks express?
100%, they're quite smelly. Like, yeah, like it's one that's in the greenhouse is it's gassy, but there's a bit of a, what could you say, like I don't know if that's from the fact I've got a bit of society garlic near there, or there's a bit of a garlicky scent, but I don't, that might just be from the society garlic. But this one's more like the smell doesn't come out too much even when it's warmed up, but as soon as you bump it or move it
Brush
in any
against
way,
it?
even brushing, like just a light brush against it, and it
Break
just
dry cleanse then. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and then it's just
Yeah.
quite pungent and gassy and bit of a, I wouldn't say fruity, but more of a bit of a floral smell, like often like, so whether
Yes,
that's
I
from
wonder
the
if freaks have like a stronger or a thicker epidermis in their trichome, so their structure on their outer cells might be a bit thicker, maybe.
yeah, quite possible. And another interesting thing I found with freak shows, which sort of led me down that rabbit hole too, was a mate of mine suffering from a lot of seizures and that, and I gave him a bit of the freak show flower
Yeah.
once it was all out and cured and everything, and it drastically reduced his seizure rates.
Knew that. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Yep, heard you say this before, Ting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. I knew it. Something
Witnessed
about
it,
it.
experienced
magic.
it.
Yeah. That's
It really
Yep.
drastically just reduced it.
Yeah. And I'm glad that's written down because that is such significant and important research now. Yeah.
That's another thing. That's why it more got me down that road where I was like,
Yeah.
right, so if this does this, if I put
Yeah.
more than one type together to try and solidify it more and have those compounds,
Yes.
that the freak shows produce,
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
that's
order
interesting.
to
And even
help with
doubling up on them. Yeah. Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
you're not the first and only person to say that freaks have had a drastic improvement on cancer and things like that,
Yeah.
and seizures.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what got me excited. I first was introduced to them through the ABC, and I haven't grown it, but I've used its oil, an oil made from the flowers, and the medicinal benefit blew me away. You don't get so much. It's not the stone high, so it's not a wipe you out, but it's a pain relief that has such an extended life that I found it beyond exciting. Yeah, and what I'm hearing from the freaks, they hold the same medicinal benefits. So this stuff's so exciting, Dragon. It really,
Oh,
really is.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
100%.
seems to. That's what I'm saying. There seems to be
Yeah.
a lot of medicinal benefits expressed
Yeah.
through freak genetics or mutant
Yeah.
genetics. Not just freak show, but like
No.
ABC.
Yeah.
And all of these. Duck's foot, I'm
Even
sure, has something.
even down to basic stuff like not even processing, just the simplest forms of dried leaves in a cup of brewed tea. And how I heard a story about how this was something that the old diggers did or something. I'm not sure. I'm probably embellishing the story at the moment, but that was what they were told this old dude had done for a big part of his life, and had suffered arthritis and stuff like that, but found such relief. And it was a basic brewing a tea out of it. And that sparked my interest big time. Yeah.
Well, the duck's foots too. Here's another one.
Yeah.
I had a friend that has trouble sleeping. I had a duck's foot that I'd grown some indoors and some outdoors, and I gave him some of the ones from outdoors.
Yeah.
And but being predominantly sativas, and they are,
Yeah.
it's for some people it's an up and go, keep me awake, do all this, get active.
Or even
Others,
anxiety. Yeah.
anxiety, others can put them to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I'd really like to know what's causing this. I really, having the legal research side of things in Australia, I really wish we had an avenue where we could get, for example, your flower dragon, broken down to the components, so we could know exactly what was going on there. Because
And
I've
what
heard
cannabinoids
exactly the same.
were in
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly what I
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
know
Yeah, it's
what's
the
doing that.
cannabinoids, it's the terpenes, and
It's everything.
what at play is doing this that makes
these
us
could be
call
really,
it
really
indica
high.
sativa, couch
Yeah.
lock, head
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
And
could
what's
be
causing
really,
it to
really high
block
in
these issues?
CBD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
see, for me, like, well, the Dragon Gas, the Platinum freaking gaseous unicorn,
Yeah.
that was predominantly cruisy for most people. Like, then I flowered some out and gave some to other people, and I said, "Here you go, have a try this," and then I have a try of it, and it was like. Like, what would you say, being because it was more like an indica where most people would just relax in that.
Yeah.
Myself, it was like 10 cups of coffee. You know, and sativas, like I had a green crack that put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
bang, I'm out. Like, yeah, so
You're a bit like that, though, Roo, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a bit like that.
Yeah.
I'll
Like, that's
sip
smile now,
on
cry
energy
later.
drinks all day long and then just
Yeah.
go to bed and, like have the
Yeah.
I
adverse
do the same
reactions
with
to most things. Yeah.
yeah. So it's that's a good thing to learn. Like, you know, so what one's what, like, you know,
And how
what
it affects you
percentages.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because it'll be different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like what may like do it for like me and Rue. Like, we could sit there and have an energy drink before going to bed,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it wouldn't do anything. You know.
I had a bag of sugar, man, and I go to bed. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
you know, that's the thing. Like, and do you find the purer the sativa, would it like my mate? It helped him go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, it was, he didn't even have to take what he would normally have with a sleeping tablet.
Yeah.
Just,
So really
Good.
about finding
Yeah.
what works for you, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
beautiful.
cool.
Moving away from that synthetic crap.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
And there's
yeah.
a lot we don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot we
Keep going,
haven't
mate.
looked through yet on the other side of things. You know, a lot of the stuff we have access to or have played with and continue to play with is very bottlenecked. You know, there's a lot of expressions, and as you say, those pure sativas are putting him to sleep. Well, the reason, you know, that's probably not happening these days for a lot of other people is because we don't have those pure sativas anymore. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah,
true.
what people are calling a pure sativa
Sorry, I
is
should.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, I should reiterate. We do have those pure sativas. A lot of us don't have access to them or are not working with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know where they are. I think that's one of the most exciting things about what you're doing, Dragon, is I've watched over the last, mainly the last 5 years, is this over crossing of just random crossing to the point where we've kind of lost so many strains. And
Yep.
to hear about someone who is reversing and going and trying to find the core root. I don't know what the core components of each of the like really good strains. I find that really exciting, and we're
Flower out to
yeah,
flower out, and here's the thing: you can take clones early, but you need to flower out. And this is what I was talking to Rue about earlier. You
yeah,
have to flower them out, and you might find that some will hold a nice phenotype in there. Won't necessarily be big flowers or anything, but it's something that is good, and it might work as a nice muscle relaxant. And then
yeah,
you've flowered another one out, and you find, okay, well, this one is a bit more active, but it still helps relax the muscles.
yeah,
So let's put those two together and see. And the flower, one might not be as heavily trichome dependent as the other one. So then you put those together, find the ones that are doing that. Then that's when you breed them. So you
yeah.
can lock that in.
Oh, it's brilliant because you're breeding with intention and
Yeah.
specific selection, and that's where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's not just doing there.
would you say
And
you
a lot
more breed for? Sorry, go ahead, Ting.
no, you go, Doc.
So would you say you breed specifically for medicinal traits then? That's more what you're looking for. And the finding those traits amongst the freaks and things like that is a side effect of let me reword that. So do you work with freaks because and mutants because you find the medicinal effects you're chasing and breeding for, or do you also enjoy the freak side of things?
I enjoy every bit of it. Like it's and it's and others as well. So it's not just them; it's others that like you can look and flower out, and you've tried both lots, and then you're like, well, wow, that works well, and like some people talk about, oh, they're purple. Well, is that from just the cold side of things? Is that coming from the
Is
the
it stress
anti
induced and is it temperature swing?
is that coming from the
Anthocyanin,
anthocyanins in it, or is that coming naturally? Like I've got an orange tangy that is green all the way through, and then purple to a slight black at the end, and that's in heat, not in cold temps. So that automatically tells me that that's not that. It is something to do with the anthocyanins in it, but it's not. It's in the genetic structure in it. Like it's naturally that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I grew up pink
Doesn't have to
lemonade
be
last
cooked.
year, and it was all purple and black on the ends. It grew out. It started green, as all plants do, but it was ended up pink purple stems and quite black buds, and it was phenomenal, beautiful to look at. And then the fade, of course, because you get right down to your yellows, but they're not dead leaves. But it doesn't always mean it's a better smoke. I love the colour purple, but it doesn't always mean it's going to be a smoother smoke. I've found it to be a chunkier type of smoke, as in a harder one to, well, it's hard to explain. Yeah, like grape oils, great for concentrates, but yeah, a chunky smoke. Yeah,
I know.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
Yes.
Like it's
heavy on the
yeah,
throat. It's yeah,
yeah.
which is probably a thing. Yeah, it's probably just my throat that doesn't cope. But yeah. The old throat, the old smoker's throat. Yeah, anyway.
I always like some of the slurricane ones. Like they're quite heavy. Like even as a cross, they can be quite heavy.
Yeah.
They,
I'm a big fan of slurricane, actually.
Yeah, I like it.
They're good, but as I said, some can be quite heavy. Like they're just it's
and hard smoke, but it's not. It's not chemicals or anything. It's just a real dense smoke.
Yeah.
So comparing like the
sorry. All right.
No. Please continue.
Yeah, I like those ones where it sort of goes longer. Like it's not just you smoke and then 5 minutes later there's nothing. Like it's a price, and it's helping with your pain, whether it's your arthritis or it's your back or muscles or so it's sort of feel the melting away. Like, and it just you can still do things, but it's just that day-to-day pain just not there, and it's more of a, as I said, more of a prolonged high where it's not. You're not.
And I
I'm
found
not
that
moving off
very
the lounge.
yeah. I found that really prevalent with the mutants. They just seem to have this extended life, and especially when you make them into a subliminal use, as in an oil or something that you take. It's like 15 hours of pain relief.
Yeah,
That's
what I
my
mean.
yeah. So I hear
I'd really like to know why.
Mm.
Yeah, there's got to be. science behind it. Like, what is doing that? Like, we know it works
Yeah.
well. Anti-seizure stuff, not fully, but like it does help that. Pain relief, like Tink you're saying, and I've experienced it myself. Like,
Yeah.
and just it's cruisy. It's not where you're just looking at a dot on the wall for an hour and not moving type of.
I'll be honest, it's
Functional,
something. Yeah, it's something I'd even look at using with not young people, but your range of people that we never like to give cannabis to, that age group, because what I found, because I used it with my daughter in her 20s, and it absolutely got her to be able to control her anxiety. That over the top pinging, I can't, and it's a physical. And she could take just a couple of mil, not even a couple, sorry, half a mil of that in an oil base and get on with her day. And that's when I fell in love with it. That was the ABC oil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what person in the world doesn't have anxiety? But she
especially in
wasn't
this
off her
world.
gut. She wasn't like, "Oh, I'm so stoned, Mum." It was nearly like, "I don't really feel stoned. I don't feel like I'm shitting myself on the inside," was the way she used to put
Just
it.
Yeah, how it reacts with the
level.
endocannabinoid system.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
likes to react to solve those issues. It likes to get involved
yeah,
that way. I guess I'd be
yeah,
very interested to know if in the future people like us can find maybe visible markers, genetic markers, and traits that we can follow down the path of to for the more medicinal plants and whatnot. In absence of us being able to do that research, that very high end research, I hope that there's a little something we can do to try and figure things like that out, so that
yeah.
people like Tink can make some very high quality
What
medicine.
I
what
think we are,
what type?
mate. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, you're right, mate. Okay.
go.
Yeah, what type targets what receptors?
Yes,
Like into like whether it's your CBG, CBD, CBAs, like all that THC receptors, like how they respond.
yeah,
Like, would there be studies to see how those different ones respond? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm wondering
I
if there's something we can do with like growing traits. Say for example, you have a mate that has these seizures and these medical issues. If you grow, for example, your version 1 versus version 2, you say your version 1 helps his seizures more. I wonder if there's things we can look at within the growth of the plant that is a marker for the value that brings over into the flower, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
As
no,
simple
that
as what
makes
they can do
perfect
for us.
sense. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Like, yeah. Like, so this one might do this, but this one might do that. So
yeah,
this one might be more focused on the anti-spasmodic side of muscles and stuff
yeah,
like that, and might
Exactly.
control
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
yeah,
Real medicine sort
yeah,
of thing,
yeah,
exactly
Yeah,
right. We're not just folk, and we. My hope is we people like us can do that because we're not smart enough nor have the equipment or the
The
finances
access
to
to
look
the
into the other
equipment.
side of things.
Mm.
Access. So hopefully there are things that we can do to figure these things out. So really appreciate what you're doing there, DragonForce.
Oh,
That's
big
awesome.
time.
yeah,
I've got to be honest. I think we need to look at the roots as well. I work a lot with the roots and get a lot of my medicinal magic and everything. Can't begin to imagine what could come out of those roots, DragonForce, as in medicinally.
well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah,
I'll keep that in mind.
start keeping them, mate. Clean them up, put them in dry them
Yeah,
out, put them in a bag, and you can get to them later and make something out of them.
yeah.
I'll
Like,
teach you how.
whether it's a gum or a paste, or like you got to look at things like would that also benefit skin stuff? Like, would it help with? Would certain ones help with, say, like eczema or rashes
Like a
No,
or
poultice.
like?
normal cannabis.
Yes, the
I
rice
make a
is
balm out of
things.
normal cannabis roots. Clears every psoriasis to eczema to arthritis, and I'm talking knuckling on your fingers, love. It stops that.
I know
So
two
imagine
people
what-
personally that have used Tink's root balm and swear
Yep.
by the stuff.
Yeah, it will clear a rash up in 3 days, and I'm talking bleeding rash. Yeah, it's amazing.
Physical
So
wounds
this
is one that
is
interests me
already
too.
showing so many medicinal benefits just in its leaves and its trichomes, and like popping in a cup of tea and drink it. Imagine what its roots might. So yeah,
The
you got
roots
to get
also
grinding.
absorb everything around them too.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
the roots take in the life of
Yep,
what you grow
yep.
it wants. So it's not going to take in something that it doesn't want. It can take in something, but it's going to try not to, you know.
Well, it's
Trust the
been
Lord and
overlooked
say,
for
you
so
know,
long because it doesn't contain THC. So,
Yeah,
exactly right. Yep.
yeah.
but you got people
exciting.
like Tink, you know, thinking outside the
Holistic
box,
approach.
looking a bit deeper.
Oh,
And,
it's
yeah,
exciting. It's so exciting. Oh, we can heal the world. Like seriously. Yeah.
Roots,
Yeah, we can grow
roots
it
and
ourselves.
plants have been used as roots and plants have been used in medicines for thousands of years.
Too right. I'm growing
exactly.
dandelions at the moment, and people laugh at me, and yet my blood's cleaner than
Apocryphy,
yours, dude.
apothecaries, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
and it
argue
costs.
this plant's root have probably been used for a couple thousand years themselves. This knowledge that you've got, Tink, this didn't come from modern synthag, and it didn't.
Oh,
You know,
good
you
God,
got it from
no.
somewhere. So I'd say it's pretty
This is
old.
ancestral. This is ancestral stuff. This is yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Be very curious how what the mutants have inside of their roots and
Yeah.
things like
Oh,
that. You know, as you say.
yeah. Yeah. It's exciting. So you're keeping your roots from now
No,
on,
the
eh?
interesting.
Course, please.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
we've been
Right.
I've been composting some as well, which has also been
Yeah.
a great benefit. All right,
Absolutely, it
you
is.
know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, soil loves it. And then there you go, you know, I mean, that's a bit of an explanation as well. If the soil's gonna love it, then why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
You know, it's just everything about it is renewable and yeah, it brings life. So I think the more we tap into it, the more we are hitting a gold resource, in my opinion, when it comes to medicine. Yeah. Let alone how much mental health, well-being is it just growing it, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
being delighted in being around it every day.
It
Yeah.
does something that we don't
Apart from the
understand yet.
stress
Yeah.
from law enforcement, but
Yeah,
everything
Oh,
else
stress
is
put on us by
beautiful.
other humans, not by the plant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly,
It's
yes,
just
nothing that the plant does.
no,
The plant is what
that's
helps
just
us in those circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah,
it does.
combats all of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, have these groups where you can talk to people, not
Yeah.
just about this, but about a wide range of things, you know, like and
Yeah,
just
come and
share
jump in the
that.
mental health chat and share that, you know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be cannabis related.
No,
We're all
No,
human.
brings you
that's
together
right.
on that level. Yeah. Yeah. Holy stick.
I
Absolutely.
mean, we talk about all sorts. Yeah.
Hmm.
These communities are good. So, and that's the medicinal value, not just that it has from the growing of it, but the medicinal value around the community. There's a lot of us, a lot of people in these communities that don't have interest in the way that we're into this plant. It's something primal and fundamental in some of us, and it's good to have all walks of life able to come together and talk about it. And all people that like different aspects, like you know, we all like different aspects, all breeders and everything. Yeah.
Exactly, mate. And there's a lot of people like us that just I guess, you know, don't have the same likes and interests as sort of society's norms. So which is this
Exactly
plant.
right.
So
Mm.
it's so
Yeah,
So
versatile
what-
too.
Dragon, I'm gonna touch on
You go,
something
mate.
here. Do you reckon Freakshow is just the start of what you're gonna do with your freaks and your mutant genetics, or are you gonna dive deeper and
Oh, down a lot. Like it's duck's foot. You know, like I've grown out different foots. I've done different ABC ones. You know, it's seeing compatibility with things as well, and whether they work like that or not, like, and should you do that? Like, I found, like, there was a ABC dominant one over I did with a lemon haze, because the lemon haze was quite, and I spoke to Tink about that too a while ago. That needing to find someone to have a look at those for me, like, and seeing how they go. Like, the first lot won't necessarily hold the ABC trait, but it will have it in there. And it's only unlocking that. You only have to do certain steps to unlock that.
Yeah.
And bring
And
that
it could
back to that
marry
side.
well
And
with
that.
Yeah. It could marry well
That's
with another
right.
strain. Yeah. And make it more
Right.
like it'll bring the actual plant into a different grow, won't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the lemon haze, well, the super lemons was like those lemon sherbets.
Yeah. Very tree, very tall.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And then and very, very well trichome covered, right?
Yeah.
Then the other side of that was the same, but more medicinal, as we discussed.
Yeah.
And that went rather well too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just some of it's all trial and error. Some things don't compare. Like, there's been ones where I've had a whole area, and I wanted one mum in particular to do all these others, and all the others around it. But then there was one that didn't like to receive any. It did not get voted.
So she
So
yeah, right.
no,
Rude.
wouldn't take. Now that's where this is where I dove into it a bit more, where there's some that are producers and some that are receivers.
Interesting.
And you have to look at it like that too. So not all will receive, but some might be better as a producer. So if you see that one doesn't necessarily like getting pollinated by that one, that might be compatibility genetic-wise, or maybe it's just not a receiving one. It's more of a producer. So then you could take some cuttings, make some clones, and have a go at reversing that one and seeing whether that would respond better.
Yeah. Wow, it's so complex that once you get down into the deep diving into it all. Wow.
Definitely is. And so and some clone rather well, rather easy, others not so much. Like, some are more susceptible to mold and rot, or like, even in the clone stage, they'll just rot.
Wow.
And you can do it because that's just how they are.
Yeah.
They're
The
just
realisation
susceptible
smacked me
to
in
it.
the
So
face.
it's not something that you'd want.
Yeah. Once it's in the stem,
You wouldn't want to introduce it. You wouldn't want to
No.
really introduce that full that type of trait into that.
No.
Like, would you?
No. It's a weakness
Something
in
that's
its
it's not mold resistant. But sometimes it could be, and a large percentage of the time, it comes back to grower error.
Yep. Or
Right.
environment, maybe.
Environment. If
The
it's
bit
outdoor,
of both, I guess,
it's a
isn't
bit
it? Yeah,
difficult.
indoor, outdoor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor. Indoor, you got a bit more control of things. Outdoor, not so much.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, indoor,
comes
that's
down to a bit of both.
user error, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. Like,
Yeah.
certain beans people might strike and they might not have any success rate. That could be it's too the medium's too wet, or the thing's
Yeah.
too wet, or it's like it's I found if you found with some of the ABC ones, they've got a harder shell.
Ah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I do
Yeah.
understand that.
So
Yeah.
they're buggers if you don't know how to strike them properly. That can
Yeah,
be
like a
quite
match.
difficult.
Yeah, you need an emery board. Yeah.
A pair of
Slip
nail
down.
clippers are your best friend when it comes to like
Oh, that's
ABC
true
and
too.
mutant stuff, I
Yeah.
reckon.
Could you guys elaborate on that a
Yeah,
little bit?
just snip in. I snip the pointed tip off down the bottom with the nail clippers, like not too far, just a little bit,
Yeah.
or even just to crack it,
Crack the
like
shell.
just
Yeah.
to
Crack
crack
that
the shell.
seal. Yeah.
So like a version of scarifying and whatnot, getting it ready to germinate. Okay, cool. I'll try
Yeah,
that
it
on
is,
some-
but yeah, so make sure you do it at the pointed end, not the other end, because the
Not-
other
not
end's
where it
the
comes off the
embryoic
plant,
end. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
don't do that. Yeah.
I haven't. I've
But
never
yeah, just give
cut.
it a tiny little
shoot it
tip, and
down
that'll
an emery
generally
board.
allow them
Yeah.
to
But I-
absorb moisture. Otherwise, their shells are too hard, and they just don't absorb any moisture or take anything in. So
And it wouldn't matter if you tried sandpaper on it. It wouldn't matter.
Wouldn't help.
Just answer my
It's
next question. Good job.
Isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know.
lessons learned.
And this is the information that I wouldn't have access to if I wasn't in these communities. So I appreciate all this advice because, sandpaper I thought was far enough, but I guess not for some things.
Yeah, not for some. No, that's good to know. I'm brave now. I'd get out the nail clippers for that too.
yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Someone like Bin Chicken, who was another Australian breeder, and his focuses a lot on his mutant genetics. He actually puts out a pamphlet with his genetics that tell you how to cut with nail clippers the seed to enhance your germination
Brilliant.
rates. Yeah.
I've grown out a few of his. I have. I love it.
Brilliant.
I love it. Like,
Yeah, that.
But yeah, there'd be many people out there that have, binned a lot of ABC or mutant genetics, not knowing that they just probably never actually, got moist enough inside to activate that embryo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had another guy that I sent some to, and he couldn't do it, and then I had to start them off and send them to him. It's because it can be difficult. It can be quite difficult if you don't get it properly.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you lose your nerve. Last season, I had a little bit of trouble with about 6 beans. They didn't pop, and I lost my nerve. So I had to get a few people to pop some for me.
You remember that rattled you a bit there, Tink?
I did. It really did. And then it's like, oh, I don't want to keep wasting beans because they're too precious and help. So a couple of beautiful people popped some beans for me. Bless
I know
them.
that feeling,
Yeah.
Pink. I lost some very valuable beans. I lost some very valuable beans recently, and also last season I lost over 30 beans. I did terribly.
Oh, it hurts.
Really bad. It does, doesn't it? It really does.
Hurts. Yeah,
It does hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
And any losses are hurt too.
It is. When you grow them and they're 5 foot tall, 5-6 foot tall, and they're male, oh, it hurts.
Oh, that doesn't hurt for people like us. So of us that are
Well,
into
no, it
genetics as well.
doesn't. It wasn't the plan, so it hurt.
Yeah, that would have.
Yeah,
that's fair, especially if it's outdoor and amongst all your girls.
well,
and,
that's what it was. It wasn't indoor, or else they would have gone early. That was another thing. Now, some growers, you guys are so clever. You've worked out how to be able to tell sexes early, and this is a stuff just exciting because there is so much time involved. What you're doing, DragonForce, it's years and years of passion, and I mean, this is gold. This is the research and the development that we so desperately need. So I'm so glad there's people like few out there. But other people don't realise this is a lot of time involved in each particular process. So good on you for doing it.
100%.
Thank you.
You know, if you look at it this way with the F1s, it's been over a year now already,
Yeah.
and that's only at the first stages. Right?
Yeah.
It's just the peak.
Yeah.
It's just the peak of the year. Yeah, it's longer than painting.
Yep.
You know, it's longer than
Yeah.
getting a masterpiece painting out sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
And
stuff
as
is-
Mud was
is-
saying, you know, you've only just sort of scratched the surface. This could be so much more hiding in those genetics that you haven't found yet.
Oh, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Very
yeah. Oh, and another thing you got to watch too, like too much moisture inside once you've pollinated certain ones, and Rue may have experienced this. I know I have. Too
Mhm.
much moisture inside when you've seeded something, and they start to pop open in the flower or on the plant.
Yeah.
Another one is pulling the beans too early, and
They're all green.
they're not fully matured, or they look like they're fully matured, but then when you don't let them sit and dry, and I made this mistake early on, putting them in something, and then it just molded them.
Yeah.
Just like, yep.
Yeah, they need to be cured.
Yeah. They do need
Yeah,
to be
so they
cured. You
need
need
to
to make sure you've got all the
dry
outer layer, like the eggs wrapping off.
Yeah, I've made this mistake too.
Yep. Right. Another one, I did
Keep them like
a
flour,
full
dry and cure
reversal.
them.
I did a full reversal on a blue microverse, and that was my first female reversal. And the whole plant reversed, had no issue with that. But what I didn't do was have enough ventilation.
Yeah.
So all those female pollen sacs and everything like that, the whole plant molded.
Oh, that just would have curled around it and created this beautiful, moist little extra layer on
Moisture
the
just
stem.
kills pollen anyway.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
Just the mold, everything, it just killed it all. Like, and I thought,
Fairy. Yeah.
you know, well, that's the thing. That's where you learn from those mistakes.
I was going to say,
You have to-
thanks for sharing that, because, you know, there'd be a lot of people out there that aren't willing to admit that they've made those mistakes. So,
Oh, I
That's
did.
awesome.
Like, you know, it's it was a great learning curve.
That's
So
it.
and how to combat that and keep on top of that, and
Yep.
and not have any other issues in the future. Right.
yeah, it was that hands-on experience that you needed.
That's
I hate
right. I
saying-
needed to learn that.
Yeah.
Right.
I hate saying that my worst scenarios have been my greatest learning curves. So, you know, I don't want to have to go through the shit, but it certainly brings on the knowledge, hey?
Some of the most catastrophic fails, and you're like,
Absolutely.
yep, okay,
Yep.
I can pinpoint
Absolutely.
exactly what I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
I remember my first auto, not listening, not doing anything, thinking, oh yeah, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then it was, I started off the auto, everything was fine, going well, but I put it in the cheapest potting mix that you could get.
Was it a nice gram?
Yeah, well, if it got to that. Yeah, so you know what I mean.
I do.
Potting mix,
Yeah,
synthetic,
it's slow
wrap,
release
flow
fertilizer.
release, yeah.
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 I learned that.
It was like
To learn that actually. Yeah, soil is
Minute-
where it starts. Yeah.
miniature lollipop, I could say.
I've tried one of them.
So stay away from that stuff. Go back and listen to our previous episodes on building soils.
Yeah. It's all good fun.
Right. And then watching all those other ones and listening to a mate of mine and getting the cocoa and perlite at the right mixes, and you know, the better aeration, less obstruction of the roots,
Yeah.
more root space, bigger plant.
Yeah.
Right, and that goes for all of them. But autos can be very finicky as well. Like
Yeah.
some might trigger early, Ruse don't, as he stated. Like and I've seen that with others as well, like Ruse ones, Taz's ones,
Mm,
even ones that I've done,
yeah.
and they prefer more aerated soil.
They do. They love
Uh,
fabric pots
you know?
too. Yeah. Love
Yeah,
fabric pots.
yeah.
Scoot.
Right. Yeah, it's just like they're saying, like you can't really do well with an auto. Well, you can.
Hello. Like, and
You
even
can.
then you get in quantity, man. Like I will fight that people
Yeah.
saying that any day nowadays. Like I've
Mm.
got autos
I
in
think's got
there
a
that are as
handle
big
on
as a
autos, yeah.
photo, and I did not perceive that. And there's some of Tassie's actually. They're in
Yep.
tiny little pots. So
Yep.
I'm doing something right, but it's the
But they're well
genetics
fed and
as
their
well.
environment's right. And the
Yeah.
genetics as well. Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, when I can not even just over 100 mil pot
Yep.
and get the
Yep.
what was it? Probably might have been closer to 3 Oscars.
Yep.
Right. And that was just 125 mil pot.
Yep. I'm getting 5 off mine, and like one of my pots is like, what is it, a 3 litre?
Yeah,
I'm trying the others.
you don't
5 litre?
need a big pot. No,
It's
you don't
tiny.
need.
No.
A little purple
No.
fabric pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that? That's I think it's 12 litres all up. Yeah.
Yep.
12 litres of cocoa.
Yeah.
I think.
I grow my autos in 15-litre fabric pots, and the observations I get is there's damn near no difference between them and in the 25-litre pots as well.
Yeah. One of these is in one of those purple ones. Like
No,
it's
definitely
tiny.
not. Yeah, as long as
Yeah.
it's all available to it, and
Yep. Yep.
they're going to do what they do.
Yeah.
They like
exactly.
outdoors, these Aussie genetics too. That's what I'm finding.
I'm-
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
These
one
Aussie
happening
autos, yeah.
outside, and I'm impressed because generally they can be not disappointing, but you've got and again, I've had no sun, so it's in flower, but I'm really impressed with it. It's probably a good 2.5 foot tall, which I think's outstanding for what it is. And yeah, it's looking quite good. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I'll have to get some updated photos of the ones I got outdoors, but they're pushing about 3 foot. The thing I noticed
that's
interesting
great.
about Aussie genetics in the autos is the ones I have,
Yep.
this is normal for me, covered in pests. However, the plants aren't affected by it because it's kind of tertiary. They're not kind of infesting it. They're
Yep.
kind of just there because my greenhouse is covered in them this time of year.
Right.
So I wouldn't, the pest resistance on a really base level where the pests actually don't bother their growth is really interesting. I haven't seen it in autos from other places.
I
Just
have
wanted
to
to note
agree with you there. Like I went out and sprayed today because there were so many bugs around, but there was no damage to any of the plants. I mean, I did it just because I saw the bugs because I can't help myself.
I'm in
But
flower, so I can't spray, unfortunately, with these autos.
okay, so I'm not in
yeah.
flower. I'm still in veg. Oh, the auto's in flower, but I didn't get the flowers or anything like that. And it's an organic spray. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, just a lot of around it and everything, but not actually damaging it. I mostly have to check for cocooning and stuff like that. On the
Exactly.
outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, your doubling of leaves.
It kind of reminds me about we can sort of Aussies can go and stand out in the Queensland sun and whatnot. And yeah, it's probably not good for us, but it doesn't bother us none, and we get some good vitamins out of it, I guess.
I
Vitamin
love
D loading, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how tough the genetics are, especially yours, Roo. It
Thank
just
you.
it makes it so much easier. They are tough genetics, and they can cope. They really can, from storms to hail. Mine have had hail. Mine
Yep.
have had 30, 42 kilometre hot winds on them, and they're all good.
I take a lot of pride in stress testing everything I do, like in all different environments, from seedlings to everything outside to inside to hot to cold.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
had
that's like
gauges. Go on,
that's
mate.
like in here. You got the different ones here, and then the different ones outside. Now we get anywhere from 33 to a 40-degree day. Like,
And they're
and,
okay.
and other than when I forgot the water the other day, like they were
Oh,
fine.
that's
Like,
different. They all need
you
water,
know,
but they cope with that heat on the foliage.
yeah, it was just sort of cooled over a little bit. Gave them a
Yeah.
drink, and they're back up again. Like, you know,
And that was
it's-
probably the hot wind more than the actual UV, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, they're still going all right. I had
That's
a look.
awesome.
I went, yeah, they're fine. Like, you know, it's you know, seeing what different environments they can deal with, and you know, like stress testing doesn't always mean stressing them out to the point where they're gonna hurt.
No.
Like it could be just environmental, like you do, like Rue does, like I do, like others do, like
Yeah.
and see, you
Yeah.
know, what
Allowing
are
them
the
to, be at the whim of nature.
Well, the ones that are going to express less of an issue with those things are the ones I'm going to look further into.
Yeah.
Because
That's right.
I want people to be able to, you know, chuck it out the back and just be happy with what they get at the end of it.
Yeah.
And if you know what you're doing and you want to push it and you can push it, then you're going to be extra happy with what you get at the end of it. But regardless, you're going to go seed to harvest and you're going to get something. And I think that for me, for my autos, was my main goal in everything I breed autos.
I've pushed them hard too. I've pushed your autos hard, really hard. The heat that I've put this lot through, for crystal clusters, my gauges were saying over 50 during a big heat wave, and the humidity was low, like in the 30s, and they're praying. So I find a lot of it is like root zone and root temperature, because they're in 25-liter pots and they're on 3 blue mats each. So, you know, if you get it right, those things will pray. Those autos will go crazy if you let them.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, they'll take a bit of everything. You can just load them up as long as exactly. As long as you've got it right, they love it. That's what I tell everyone with them. Feed them early and don't be scared to feed them because they will take it, but they'll tell you when they don't like it too.
Yeah.
Like, what's your longest auto flaring time frame? Like, you know, like 90 days, 100 days, or how like.
Yeah, talking in genetics.
Yeah, like start to finish autos. Like, what's the longest time you've grown one out? Like,
I've had some autos go as long as 100, 130 odd days. And then I've had some go as short as 70 or 60 odd days.
Yeah, about 100.
So in the 60 days, I've experienced around 120, 125, roughly. Like, you know, like, and quite well. Like, you know, like, and you're sort of getting into, when you look at it at that stage of that 120 days or upwards, that's almost not the same, but almost like photo period growing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. A birth and a baby.
you know,
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about the season, which is nice.
Yeah,
but you don't have
but
to
it's
worry
coming
about
into the
changing
point where you're but if you're indoors and things like that, it's different. It's, you know, you're defeating the purpose of your indoor growing or your auto growing, in my opinion.
Because that's
where that's when
Yeah.
their benefit is being outside, and you can grow year round outside with them.
Absolutely, I agree. I think you're wasting, in my opinion, personal opinion, a lot of people out there these days will disagree. Autos are they're for outdoors, especially in our climate in Australia and some of the warmer ones. You're wasting a lot of electricity on those autos indoors through the flower, in my opinion. Yeah, compared to the photos. The outdoors, they shine. I really love them outdoors.
Yeah, so I'll agree and disagree with you on that. Like, I can push my indoor autos to well past what I would consider a normal, achievable, like a standard grow in a photo, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, that's a good point. because
Like
you know
I would have
you
flipped my photos well earlier than and ended up
exactly
with yeah. So
shorter veg. You know,
yeah.
you're making a short veg plant versus a shorter lifespan photo plant versus
Yeah.
a auto
A
that went
longer
fully
auto.
through its life in a
Yeah.
really good condition. You know, actually, there's some very fine examples of some auto growers in our Discord and community. So yeah, I'll agree with that too. That's a good point.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think when she's starting to get out past that 100 day mark, I think that's when you're looking at that particular auto cultivar benefits from being outdoors, and would benefit you being outdoors.
Yeah.
Coming indoors, you want stuff that's going to run around 90 days, because then you're at your 3 month cycle. You can do 4 in a year. In amongst your photo period stuff as well, because you can flower while your photos are vegging, and your time flips don't generally affect a solid auto.
No, I've got mine for the first time on 12/12 because they're in with a photo.
Yeah, how's that
and
going?
They are doing famously. So famously. So I can vouch for that personally now. Yeah. I knew you were right. But
Did you find with the auto, was that started from seed under 12/12 or was reduced down to 12/12?
no, reduced down. I all of them are 18/6 now. I used to be a shithead, mate, and run mine 24. So yeah. And then I got scolded, and I understand why. So I at least need to give them 4 hours. But the general is 18/6 because they'll be on a timer because I can't count. And then reduced it down because they were in a photo room. Otherwise, I would have left them at 18/6. Or even I'm happy to go to 20 to 4 with autos.
Did you find after dropping the DLI down to 12/12 with them that it didn't really affect much? Did you do that gradually, like dropping it down every couple of days?
I only actually did it in 2 stages, so it wasn't as gradual as I could have. I'll do that next time because I think that there's something in that. If nature's going to do that, then I think we're going to accomplish a lot by doing that. So it was only like a 2-day type of gradual to 12 hours. So it went to, if that makes sense. What did I do? See, now they've confused me. Anywho, they have just boomed at 12 hours.
It's like I said to
well established.
It's like I just said to a mate of mine that's got the clone. It's got another 2 weeks to take it up to being like it's already done the rebed and going back, like so. Then he's looking at leaving it for the 6 weeks. But then what I said to him, I said, right, well, what you can start to do now, because it's already at a certain height and certain size that you're after, what you can do now is take off 1 hour every 3 days for the next 18 days.
That's it.
Which will give you that other 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, which will make it the 6th.
Yeah.
And it'll slowly take off that hour of the daily light that it's receiving, which really won't. Yeah.
Yeah, gets a stronger pre-flower.
Was that 1 hour every 3 days over 18 days? Sorry, I'm just make sure I got my notes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. 1 hour every 3 days over that. Well, it's 18 days, so 2 weeks, 2 days, like
14 days, 14 days.
Yeah.
14 days and 18 days, so another 4 days. Like, so it's really, really not much difference. Depends, and like I said to him, if it's already showing pre-flower pistils, then you can do it 1 hour every 2 days. So 1 hour, skip the day, the next day do the hour. So you're not really sending it into shock, and you're still getting that extra time.
Yep.
That's not putting it into shock as you're changing it over.
Yeah.
And transitioning into flower.
Yeah.
That's another interesting point. That darkness period that can sometimes shock the plant. That's where the autos do come in useful sometimes too. I will admit that they're great to hide because they don't care. You can put them in a shed or something for outside of their flower period, outside of their darkness period or during their day period, and they won't.
In the middle of the day, mid flower, and you can just go hide it in the shed for a few hours, and it doesn't care. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
absolutely
they
right. They are so versatile. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, not
Open
like
'em up.
nowadays where, you know, before you had the use of the timer and then it was like, all right, I can put it in darkness for 24 to 48 hours and then bring it out, and then I have to remember what time I did that, so then I've got to go and turn the light off at this time.
Yeah,
Yeah, or like some of these modern hype genetics, and you walk into your lung room and accidentally, let a little bit of light in, and the 2 days later you got bananas.
yeah.
It's like, fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The only thing I had home during my last run with all of the stuff I had run with all the stress that it went through, as some of you guys know what they went through, I only
Yep.
had exotic genetics herm on me, and it was buggered, completely hermed out. That's the only thing in there that did, and I had a lot in there.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
that can be quite frustrating, I find, with
Yeah.
modern genetics. It's just how unstable they are.
Yeah, yeah, very
Well,
much.
that's what I found with one, like I said, like, well, see, then that goes back to being recessive or the breeding process.
Yeah,
Right. You know,
Yeah, 100% the breeding
sometimes
process with this stuff.
they just do it, could just be recessive. Like, but then again, I did find with the same ones, like one did and one didn't. And the one that didn't is the one that I wanted to keep around because it was solid. Right. It didn't change. Right.
Oh, there's
Others
still
I've seen.
always going to be those outliers in amongst that stuff, though. That's right.
Yeah, like there's others I've seen and it was weird. Well, I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was one that was male first, and then after a while it started showing female pistols.
Hmm.
Right.
Which do you think it
So,
was? Do you think it was a male that's stressed, or do you think it was a female that's stressed? Like, which order do you think that came in?
no, well, it was already showing pollen sacs as a male. So they came from red, so it was male, and then it showed female pistols, and it ended up pollinating itself. So I kept those, but one ended up dropping off it during the period of time. It was just outside. I could drop it in the bed or in the pot where it was. And the ones from that, no, just,
Sorry, go on.
and the ones from that, well, I see there's like one or two that came off that fell and dropped and grew, and the ones from those were both female. There was no
Okay.
herm traits. There was no herm traits.
That was going to be my next question. Like, were they both male? Were they? I'm not sure what it's referred to, defeminized or masculized. I've heard of people doing it, but they weren't. They were female. That's really strange. What threw that? What cultivar was it that threw that?
Oh,
Sorry to put you on the spot. It's probably a bit ago. a lot of plants have
yeah,
gone
it
through
was
since
a while
then.
ago. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm just trying.
Yeah, not important. It's all good, mate.
Yeah, no, I did. As I said, I did keep some around, but I just thought, like that was interesting that the ones that fell from it, just went female, like because, like as I said, it came from reg stock,
Yeah.
and then went male, then female, like so it wasn't like it still had the male sacs, and then female pistols, and as I said, self pollinated, which I don't normally have the practice of keeping stuff like that around, but then I just thought, well, they dropped, I let them go, and I thought, well, if they show them, I can just pull them out, get rid of them. Like, won't matter.
and they
But it
didn't.
didn't, and it
Ah,
didn't. And that's what shocked me. It wasn't one, but the two that grew were both just females.
interesting.
It's not something I'd probably want to use and breed with, but it was interesting regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah.
And it's like
That's
people
like big genetic.
reversing males. I can sort of see why some of them do it, but I don't understand why. Like,
Yeah, especially when you have femmes, I guess. Femmes, I guess, when you have female
Well, you
reversing.
want to find the femmes from the regs. Why reverse the male and try and see what the female flower is? Why not hunt the females from the regs, then see what the flowers are like?
Because they're not as clever as you, DragonForce. I think that's why, man.
Like,
They're still fucking around and trying to find out.
you
I
don't
think-
really need to.
The
No,
only
not
case
now.
would be trying to keep a breeding male around if you can't keep a father or something, or he can't hold his pollen or something like that. If you pop something, for example, say you pop a bunch of beans you can't get anymore and you only get a male, but at that rate you might as well just, I guess, unless you want to keep it super pure. Yeah, either way you're gonna have to breed with it. So I guess you should have luck
Let's
either
look at
way.
it this way: you couldn't use it as breeding stock, even if you
Yeah, you're
reversed
right,
the
'cause
male and
it's
made it
going to be
female,
unstable.
because then it's unstable and it would likely hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you would
true. I
not
didn't even think
use
about that. Yeah.
you would not use a reversed plant that you've reversed, and then say you've got pollen from a reversed female over here, then you reverse that male to think it's female. Well, then it's still male. So,
Yeah.
or if that's a reg male, and then you're reversing a reg male to a female. Well, then when you pollinate it with that reg male pollen, you're only making more reg seeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Because it's originally a male. Yeah.
But like, if you had a reversed female and then you put the reversed female pollen over that reversed male, well, the reversed male, like the reversed female, is a change of sex. So would that not throw herms because that's a reversed male and a reversed female? Like that, yeah. Wouldn't I don't think it'd work too well.
I think we're just better off sticking with the reversing the females, to be honest. There's maybe some super niche situations, but I don't think it's practical for anyone else.
Does sound very 2026 though, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Very, very wide scale, I think it would be.
There is
like if
guys
we were
doing it.
doing massive reg hunts and things like that, and there's that one
There is guys,
outlier
there-
male, then yeah, of course. But yeah, they're very, for most people, not worth it.
Well, you'd
and
also have
then-
to.
Yeah,
Go,
sorry,
mate.
go. You're all right.
You'd also have to wonder, like, genetically what that's doing, or so the process of reversing, as these plants naturally, when you go back far enough, do it themselves. When they're in big open fields, and you're not growing sensi, you're not growing without seed. It's unusual because I don't think in nature they do reverse into males under any circumstances. Like the progeny that comes off, I don't think they will try and make themselves produce males. So I don't think that's natural. So I'm not really sure the impact that would have either. I didn't think about that before either.
So there's also when you do
What are you
certain-
inputting? What hormones are you feeding it?
Yeah,
like,
they're not
to
natural.
make
They're
it
not
do that.
supposed to.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to do that in nature at all. Whereas females that reverse, the plant will reverse in nature. It does it. It's one of its self-preservation things. But as I said, I don't think it will try and produce male seeds. So yeah, that'd be to some damage for sure in the long term.
And here's another thing that I've noticed with some of the reef stuff that you do, and then you find that some, what do you say? Like, so there'll be a percentage. Say you pop 10 reefs. Doesn't matter what strain it is. You pop 10, and out of those 10, you might get 7 females. And only 4 males, or you might get eight males and only 2 females. So then that tells you that particular one has a higher ratio of making more males than females. Like, like look at that sometimes too. Like, and wonder is that like because they're leaning more this way? Is there more ethylene, like Is there more of the female hormone in there that's producing more within them, like rather than the male one? Like so it's predetermined what it's going to be when it's sprouted. But some of them might the female side of the hormones might overtake the male side when it comes to the reg breeding as well. Like
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
it's just something I thought about. Like you know,
Well,
like,
our understanding's a little different too, because like we're thinking of it sort of from a human perspective about how these hormones and these reactions take place inside the plant. We're forgetting that this is what it does. It's one of those few creatures on Earth that can willy nilly just switch it over and not really impact itself. So it's kind of incredible, and especially what you're saying, how it passes those things on among between itself, and because it's willingly doing that, it's not forced to do that per se. That is interesting.
yeah, and that's when I say when I find a reg to fem as a true fem, it's not a reversed fem. It's been found. It's not.
It's evolved
It's
that
not.
way.
Well, it was born a female.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah. Because that's like a lot of people tend to forget too, like especially ones that are newer doing starting seeds off and stuff like that is look at that being as an embryo.
Yep.
It has everything it needs in there to start it off.
Yep.
Everything. It is a life force. It is a life form. That's what it is. It has everything.
Its own nutrients. We were even talking about this recently, Roo.
So-
Even the shell, that
It has
in some
everything.
ways
Yeah.
is the food for that to grow, to sprout, to do that first sprout. Yeah.
Got its DNA, it's got its instructions, RNA, it's got everything ready to.
Yeah, so that's
Right.
So touching on all of this, I'm starting to think if reversing a female to create feminized pollen and then creating seeds from that would that technically be considered genetically modified then? So would that
I wouldn't.
already be GMO cannabis in a way?
I wouldn't. I'll let Dragon answer this first, but I definitely have an opinion on this. What do you think, Dragon? You've got a lot more experience in this realm of thing.
Doing the reversal, well, that's it depends on how you look at it too, because there's like when you're reversing a female, you are in all sense tricking the female by blocking the hormones
The hormone, correct.
and making it think it's a male.
Correct. So you
And
were
that's
technically
modifying.
modifying her genetics.
So
Yeah.
you are, in a sense, modifying what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So, I have an opinion on this. So you apply STS or colloidal silver or something like that, silver trisulfate or trisulfate, however it's pronounced. So if you're adding that and it's creating a chemical reaction within a plant that naturally occurs, how's that any different than spraying some sort of synthetic or enzyme? Those are both having a similar effect where you're making reactions happen by manipulating the plant. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a form of genetic modification so much as a crop steering method. However, it is 100% a form of genetic bottlenecking.
Because what you're actually doing too is when you're reversing the plant, even though you're reversing it, see, here's the thing, it shows pollen sacs, but you're really not changing the sex of the plant at all.
Well, a true herm doesn't show pollen sacs, she only shows nanas.
That's right. Now, a reversed one, now it's showing pollen sacs, but everything about that plant is still female.
Well, that's right. Yeah. That's why I was just curious as to everyone's opinions on that. Like,
Technically-
I never really thought too far into it before. Even as a breeder, I was just like, yeah, I do what I do. But
this is
That's
what
why
I'm
I muck
saying.
around and say sometimes they're femballs. Because it's what they are.
Every good feminist has a pair to strap on. It makes sense. No?
But this is what I'm saying when I say we're applying our human logic towards it. Technically speaking, it isn't a female; it's both, because that's how
True.
this particular
Yeah.
plant works. So
Yeah.
it
Technically
hasn't
speaking.
actually changed at all how it expresses what it is. We have changed. So that's sort of what I'm trying to get at. They are male and female, but we are the ones that created the definition of male and female.
That's
Nature
correct.
doesn't.
Yeah, they're born.
Yeah.
It's as an embryo, as a seed. It is male or female, and
Yeah.
And it continues
Yeah,
to be no
yeah.
matter what. There is part of it that can switch, which is why we have herms. It's in every single cultivar. We breed out of it, but it is traditionally in it. So that's what I kind of mean about how we look at it and go, oh, it's
what's
now
genetic
female or
preservation
male.
for itself? Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it's
Yeah.
still here. So I guess
Then it'll be recessive. Like it's there. It's always going to be there. Just some of it isn't as prominent. Some might only be where I've witnessed somewhere it's just nodal spacing, and it's only here and there, but nodal spacing male sacs. You know, and there's a difference when you look at when you reverse a female. They don't have that long part of the stem, and then the sac comes down. They stay more bunched.
Yeah, well, they
When you
form
do
as
a
the same
female.
as a female flower would. Yeah.
Yes, but when you got a male one, it's got that bit of a stem that comes off in the node spacing or on the tops, and it sort of goes a bit longer and comes and drops down because they like to get away from the plant as much as possible to get the wind to spread the pollen. Right? Yeah, right. That's why they extend it out so they can do that. Right. You know, but then again, as I said, I've come across some male ones that up until when they started showing sacs looked like a female. It was growing like a female. Like it just, and then it's all male. So it in that sense, sometimes the growth tells you like, oh, it's going to be a male because they're stretching early, they're pumping up quickly, and they're trying to just get the pollen out as quickly as they can. Right. But then some males, they won't act that way. No.
I guess at the end of the day, it reminds us that this is a living thing we're working with, right? Like we can behave and do and steer all we want, but it'll do what it wants at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep. But, you know, you can have a certain element of control with it, but you're not fully in control with all of it. No.
Get to manipulate it.
Yeah. Like
Yep.
you know, and I find like leaving them alone, doing certain things, and less can be more.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
ways, you know.
And it sounds like you're putting in the time to actually get to know the plant, you know, to be able to draw the best out of it. And I think that's where it's at, you know.
What's
Not
its
being
manual?
oblivious.
Yeah. Like just see what it does. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the exciting part of it. Sorry, Rick, you were saying.
No, that wasn't me that time.
Yeah, I just
No,
wanted
well-
to say, I wanted to elaborate on that thing, mentioning how much work and time Dragon's putting in. I want to go back when he mentioned, yeah, this is just his F1 and there's a lot of potential. I want to point out how many people will release their F1s and say, job done. I just want to point that out.
Amen.
And Dragons is like, oh, I've got
Yeah.
a long time. I've still got to find
Yeah.
out, look into it, see that
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, just take note of that. Some people that
Yeah.
a lot of people hit an F1 or an R1 and whatnot and just be like, oh yeah, there you go, guys. So
That's it. Done
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
that's
minute the
real work.
conversation became in depth about the males, that shows you actually know about genetics. Because if so many people are making beans, but they don't even realize that there's different males and there's male traits that you've got to look for, and that's part of the union and everything like that. They're just like, oh, I made pollen. Look at all the beans I can make. But they haven't actually even paid attention to the male plant. So
No.
yeah, this is encouraging for everyone because there's a whole lineage to it and a process to it. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
to learn about males. You got to grow males, and not many people grow males.
Yeah,
So,
it's not just pollen
there's
chucking.
a whole world to looking into males.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah.
No, that's exactly right. Like, and you got to look at them and go, oh, okay, well, this one's this one, that one's that one,
Yeah.
and structurally wise, is that what you want? Is the node spacing closer, so that will sort of transfer through when you look at the female, how the node spacing is closer and the male node spacing is closer. They're not spread apart.
Yeah.
That can transfer through as well. So
And
it's
that
not
matters.
so it's not
Yeah.
spread and gapped as much, and that does make a big difference when you're crossing one with another, even if it is of the same. Some of the males might be tall and lanky, others might be, a medium to tall bush, that look more like the female.
Yeah.
So then you go, right, well, that's pretty good. It's got decent branching on it. It's got decent node spacing in between it. This one's the same. Right, we know that, and then you still would have to try and find the flower from that, even though that male may smell and do all that. That's a good sign.
Mm.
But you would still have to try and find a female from that to see how the flower from that would be. Like, there's some male ones I've had where even the male pollen sacs were trichome covered as well,
Wow.
right? Which is a
That's
good sign. Which
cool.
is a
That's
good sign.
incredibly good. Yeah.
I wonder how an extract from those trichomes would behave.
I don't know.
I wonder if
Yeah,
that'd be different. Yeah, I've no idea either.
yeah.
I've
It
gone a
would
few
be
times.
interesting.
Yeah.
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 That's what I mean. Like, so looking at that, so that male's heavily trichome covered as well, which is a really good sign,
Mm.
because that's automatically going to tell you that the transference of that trichome coverage would assist with the other one as well. If that's a heavy trichome female, then that's already got those on a male one. Because not all males do that.
No. And that's a trait that you'd want. So then you go with that because that's what you want to encourage in the final product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
you'd have to have a few different males, and then just keep an eye on them,
Yeah.
and then you cull out the ones that aren't really that beneficial. And then, as I said, you can go and put them in your compost or bury them in the garden bed somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Chop them. They're good compost.
Speaking of frosty males, I've heard a completely unsubstantiated claim that males that are frosty are contaminated with femlines. I'm not spreading that. I've just heard it once and was curious of professional opinion. I don't think it's true personally. What's your opinion of that?
What they say, contaminated with what?
So males that have like high trichome production have to have femmes somewhere, reversed females somewhere in the line. That's something I've heard. Yeah, I do too. That's just something I'm curious about. Yeah, no, it didn't make any sense to me either. I just wanted to ask some people that knew.
Or even if it did come from a reversed line, it's still back to a reg. So,
and they reverse themselves in nature anyway. So they're designed to do that by nature. It's not
like we were saying before that they're both male and female anyway. So
yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
It's just an expression.
It's just
it
the
also
bottlenecking of the
comes
genetic
down
profile, I guess.
to
Correct.
comes down to genetics. Exactly right.
Yeah, like you just said there, the bottlenecking of the genetic profile.
Comes down to exactly that. If it's not prominent in either one when they do a cross, then it won't be. It won't be much. It won't be anything too special at all. It'll just be flour. There'll be. It won't be good for pressing or washing or if you like making hash with them or whatever you want to do, whether you want to dry sift it or you want to do a wash or you want to bloody press it. That's.
Love their bubble hash. Yeah.
I look at those things too as part of the breeding process. are they going to wash well? Will
Yeah.
that press well? Will that
Yeah.
do this? I've never washed anything before, but that doesn't, but dry
You're not,
sift wise, yeah, I've
yeah.
done that. I've pressed stuff before, and it's been pretty good, like.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like I said, when I have pressed some, and then it's just that nice cruisy high. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not. And then you get somewhere it's just like a bloody shotgun blast.
Yeah. Ball between the eyeballs. I'm
Yeah,
out. Can't move.
No, don't make any plans today.
I needed a day off. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Something I'd like to ask when we're talking the world of freak shows and you were talking outside, where do you think DragonForce this takes us into the world of like stealth growing? And I suppose not stealth, discreet growing. I've always looked at freak shows and mutants and duckswoots because they give that level of I'm just another plant, nothing to see here. But from our discussions tonight, I'm starting to think the smell might be because of the huge trichome coverage and how developed they're becoming and how wonderful they're becoming. It might not just be about looks and how well they
yeah,
disguise themselves, but
they
it's
can
part of
disguise
it, isn't it?
themselves quite well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
So-
the smell is going to be a dead giveaway.
yeah,
Like,
right.
it's
Yep.
like unless you had, as I said, something that was more overpowering.
Yep.
Those you go past those roundabouts sometimes, you smell that strong garlic smell, or but those, which is
Yeah.
just called society garlic, right?
Yeah, right.
And that provides a very strong smell when it heats up.
Yeah,
As you
right.
notice, if you've gone
Yeah.
past certain roundabouts in around towns, and
Yeah.
all you smell is like garlic or onion or
Yeah.
like. So you would want something like that, like to try and combat it, like
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always
you
into
know.
that. I plant so many herbs for that. Wormwood's a big one because that's pretty stinky. But I'm into, a lot that, your mints and everything like that for that basic
Yeah,
reason, the
yeah,
smell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get your basils, your oregano,
No, rosemary's. Yeah. Yeah.
rosemary, like
Yeah.
and it's all beneficial anyway. Like
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
you're not having to pay the supermarket for all this stuff.
Good God, no. No, it's life. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's right. Like they as I said, they're doing quite well,
That's
and that's
good.
only just water,
Yeah.
nothing else.
That's brilliant.
The ones where I've showed you, like the one in the greenhouse, how it's going. That's just water.
Wow.
There's nothing
Okay.
else getting added to that, and you've seen that. That's just water.
Yeah, and that's
I'm not
covered in
using anything
trichome.
else.
Yeah.
That's correct. So
Yeah.
that's already telling me I'm on the right track with it.
Big
I'm on the
time.
right track.
Because how user
Imagine,
friendly is that for your everyday gardener? Like that's just crazy good. Yeah.
if you just wanted to put water on it and it's
Yeah.
still producing, that's where it comes back to genetics. That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
looking at it that way, doing it that way, and taking the time to do that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah,
It's setting a
it's
foundation that's going to be so usable and so valuable. It really is.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Like like just try and get things that can be beneficial.
Yeah.
Beneficial.
Legacy, mate.
Like,
Love it,
And
mate.
the
Absolutely
legacy.
love what you're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He is. He's building a legacy,
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
which
Proud
is
to
what
know
we're
you.
all about, that and preservation. So
Yeah.
oh,
love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Big time.
I'm gonna hit you with a question here, Dragon. If you could put a freak in every Aussie grower's tent, what are you gonna share with them? What's the one freak you reckon everyone should have a go at growing?
Get to start with,
Yep.
as a
Yeah,
Just to
like for
grow.
anyone who hasn't grown any freaks or anything like that, what would you recommend? Just someone just to hunt out and just chuck in.
probably your standard Freakshow or berry freak, like to start with, like or you want some probably the original, just a Freakshow, like just to try that out and see how it responds.
See what you think of it.
They
See if you like the way it grows
you know,
and those sorts of
they
things.
can grow quite tall. Like if you're doing outdoors, indoors, if you're not, if it takes off or it's all, as I said, it all depends on the space the person has, like, and whether they can do it outside or whether they can do it inside, and the size of the pot they want, and like, but I would recommend just a standard freak show to begin with, so you could
Keeping it
get a
as
feel
simple as
for it.
possible. Yeah. Yep.
Get a feel for it, like, and
Good advice.
I know as well as others, that reversing mutant ones is not as easy as it sounds. It can be quite difficult. You might need a stronger mix, like to combat that, because as I say, the ethylene in them, being the female hormone, would sometimes be a lot stronger, like and more resistant to a weaker reversal mix or silver mix, like colloidal silver mix.
Yep.
So
To the
you would have
silver
to
itself.
adjust
Yeah.
it more. You would have to adjust it to a stronger ppm.
Yep. Stronger
I
parts per million. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. To combat that. Same with when I tried to do a reversal duck's foot that was really good. This one grew more like a vine, like it was weird how it grew. Like it grew out and then up, so it was different. Other ducksfoots I've grown, they've sort of just come out a little bit and then they just branch as a normal plant, but they've just got
See
the
it
web
vining
track.
along sounds a bit more like the wild duck's foot, the true duck's foot.
Well, this one actually came from a guy that, like, the guy got it from his dad that had him up in Nimbin. Right. So,
it could have
like,
been to the originals.
like
Yeah, well, that's
what
something that
I'm
they
saying, like,
preserved themselves, like the duck's foot strain. It preserved itself by mutating itself along the banks of the rivers there. So
Yeah.
it was
yeah,
left
this one
alone
went
for
really
decades
weird. It was
before
sort
people
of
even realised it was cannabis again.
Yeah.
this was weird. Like it was like really elongated, but vine like branching. Yeah, like it was
Sounds
quite weird.
I'd love to vine growing cannabis.
Yeah,
That'd be sensational.
So one thing I'm going to touch on too, because we've done a lot of breeding chat over the last sort of couple of episodes, and we're talking about STS, colloidal silver, things like that. One thing I want to make clear to everybody: do not smoke anything that you have sprayed with silver.
Yeah.
That's a good one to point out. Yeah,
100%
please.
consume it at all.
And be careful when you
No.
play with it too. It's not something to be played with. So make
No.
sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah, be
It's not
careful,
crazy,
and
but
don't go consuming it.
Recommend SDS using gloves
Yep.
when mixing, glasses, masks, everything. Cordial silver's a bit different because but at a stronger concentrate is a lot different than, say, something you run of the mill stuff from the
something you shoot down the
pharmacy
health food shop. Yeah.
where it's 50 ppm or 100 ppm.
You can swig that out
You
the
know,
bottle. You won't be doing that with something you've mixed up.
Yeah.
like
Right.
when my ppm rate, because I've got the silver rods and stuff, like I think when I last looked, it was sitting at about 1200.
Yeah, it's definitely not consumable.
That is not. You
No.
can't even see through that. No.
Oh yeah, just wanted
No.
to make that point clear to everyone at home, anyone experimenting with breeding, with STS,
Yeah.
with colloidal silver, things like that. Yeah, just make sure that anything that you've sprayed is now dedicated to doing that job.
Yep.
That's it.
You can't consume it at all.
No.
And the plants around it.
recommended.
I wouldn't.
matter
I'd be very careful.
How it looks, that's full of
Yeah, even the
bees.
plants around it. Correct.
Yeah, I
like-
wouldn't have it in your tent when you're trying to do stuff like this, because this stuff is kind of nasty. It's not your normal sort of enzymes and nutrients and things we play with.
I'll
It's
have
not
a
salt-based.
dedicated STS tent. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
pull
exactly.
everything into that tent. It only
Yeah.
ever gets sprayed in that tent. There's no exhaust fan in that tent. Like, yeah, quite careful in the way I do things with that.
Well, you want to watch that with the exhaust fan as well when you're doing the reversal, because you will need to remove some of the moisture. Right.
Yeah, but no, this is only for my spraying. That's what I'm saying. This is
Oh,
my
only
STS
for so
spraying
it's
tent.
just for the spray. Just
Yep.
let it spray,
Because
let
once
it
you've
dry.
sprayed
And then,
STS on a plant anyway, it needs a dark period. You need to let it dry. Correct. Otherwise, you
yeah, no, that's what I was just saying. Like, yeah, leave it out, let it dry. You can't put it back in before that, because you got the chance of droplets, or whether you've sprayed or whether you've used like a little dropper device to drop it on the tops,
on the nodes and yep.
on the tops, in the nodes, on the tips, like, and spraying it could easily transfer just by being near it and dropping onto another one. Yeah, like quite easily.
Yeah,
Also,
and it
and you-
keeps everything contained. So
I'd also be cautious of the impact it has on the soil if it drips in. I don't know much about it. I haven't looked into it deeply, but I probably would avoid getting it on soil if you have big living pools, soil pots, or anything in your breeding.
yeah, I'd avoid it definitely. I'd just
Yeah.
maybe cut out a big piece of cardboard,
Yeah, exactly.
cut a
right,
slot
yeah.
in it, and slide it around your tree, and then spray from there.
Those paper woolies bags.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all.
What else are they good for? Yeah.
Like you've got those little what do you call it? Like you can just cut some of that like thicker plastic or something. You just slip it around, like like anything, even like a an old ice cream container. You cut a little thing like a 4 litre one, cut it down the side, put a hole there, slip it around it.
Yeah.
So it's just catching everything that gets like droplets into that. Like I haven't had much of an issue in that way. Like like with medium being an issue, but yeah, you got to be like an STS, if made too strong in a certain sense, can burn the plants. Like if it's too strong, like
I've done that. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yep. It can kill them.
it'll
Shrivel
burn.
them up and. Yeah.
100%,
Yeah,
kill
I've
them.
had that issue chasing a reversal that just was being way too stubborn for my liking, and I couldn't get it
So then,
to take. So I was slowly increasing my ppm and things like that, and got it to a point where I was just burning it rather than actually
so
achieving
then
what
you
I
look
wanted.
at that. Look at that didn't want to reverse. Does that mean that one might be better as a receiver than
Correct.
a producer?
Yeah. Exactly.
Correct, but that can be hard too when you're working with autos, and it's like, well, that's now way
Oh,
too
well,
late. That's
autos,
gone.
yeah, well, that's it. Like, you
Yeah.
don't really know, like, you don't really, like, that's right. But then you know for the future, that's the trial and error part.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
And
So, all
that
right,
can
well,
be the
that's
part
not
of
going to
hunting
reverse.
autos and breeding good autos is that, unfortunately that whole thing, that part of the project has to go in the bin.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
really reverse it. But
Well,
then you
and it's
might get
no use
another
for the
one.
rest of the project. Yeah.
No, then you might get a reversal over there, start another one of those off. This one reverses quite well, and it pollinates that one, and you get a full pollination with no issues. Right.
Yeah, but then it might turn out that it has all the traits that you wanted, but you just couldn't get it to reverse, which is frustrating.
Yeah,
so
well, that
there's
in
lots of those
itself,
things. Yeah.
that's where people go, oh, well, you can go and clone an auto. And I said, why? Said, now they've got a time frame, they've got a clock.
Yeah, exactly. You
You,
can do it. Of course, it's possible, but are you going to achieve what you want by doing so? More than likely not.
no, like, and then
You
it
haven't got
touches
the
back
time
on
frame to
those.
do it.
It would have to be one of those ones where it was like 120-day or up.
Yeah.
One.
Otherwise, yeah, what's the point of doing it?
You got
You
no
know?
time to get maturity on the beans or anything like
No.
that. It's just it's pointless. Yeah, you're wasting
Yeah.
your time. You're wasting your energy.
Yeah, the only, as I said,
Timing
the
is
only way
everything.
realistically, you couldn't really do it. Like you get one that's like 120 days or 130 days. Within the first 3 weeks, if it's got enough expensive growth, you might be able to take a couple of cuttings and get those rooted and get those going, and it'll be a month behind, but it's still going to be the same age as the mum, and it's still going to go at the same rate.
It's still going
So
to be in flower at the same time, but it's going to be smaller because it hasn't had that extra month of growth to bush out and
that's
that.
right.
To dedicate
Yeah.
time
The
to
only
rooting.
Yeah.
that would be with those. It would be a good test in that sense when you look at it that way. And this way is only with those longer ones would be. Then you could try and reverse one and see how it reverses or how it gets pollinated and whether that's actually better. Like that, but it'd only be those longer flowering ones. Anything that's like 2 months, 2.5 months wouldn't be worth it. You couldn't do it.
No.
It and you know, once you stuff up with an auto, that's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's it.
saying. Like, that's it. You know, you
Yeah.
kiss that bit goodbye and just go, all right, I got to start again and refind that again
Well, that's it.
because
So
you've got one
yeah,
shot.
you know, would you try and just?
It's not like the beauty of photos where you can take 12 cuts of that mum and then
Keep
have
it in
that.
bed. Yeah. Yeah.
And then go, oh, well, I missed my timing by my timing window by a week, so you know I'll just run another cut and do it again.
Yeah.
You can't do that with the auto. You know, once it's gone, you missed your timing, it's gone.
Good luck re-vegging auto.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like you've missed that window, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Right. And then you look at the time frames, like with your reversals, your first sign of pre-flower pistils on your autos when you should start treating.
Mhm.
Right. And then all the way up. Like, so it's like, all right, so it's first sign of the pistols, you do it twice a day for the first 10 days.
This is
You
colloidal
know,
silver.
that could be colloidal or with SDS, like SDS, if it's not that strong, like, you know, you could
Yeah,
do it,
okay,
but
yeah,
if you're
not strong. Yeah, cool.
not as strong, twice a day for the 10 days, you know, you don't want to go too much. You want to keep an eye on it too, see if the tips are yellowing off or if they're burning, or drop back on the amount of treatment you're doing. Or
Yeah, and you also another tip is you don't have to drown the whole thing. So don't go drowning every single node trying to reverse the whole plant.
no, because it goes through on a cellular level anyway.
Exactly.
It sucks in and takes it in through its cells, and it transfers through. Consider like we look at it like veins in our body. They have arteries and veins and stuff and everything like
Just
that
like
go
us,
through to
they
the other
absorb
branches.
moisture through their skin. So, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Which is
that's
why we
like
follow
another
feed and
said
everything.
they were
Yep.
going to try this. Yeah, so it'd be you could just do little droplets where it's just on the tips, right? And gradually as those tips get to the top, then it's like that top part's already been done, then you can focus more around it, right? And if it's one that you're particularly fond of that you don't have any more of, well then you could just do one branch. Like it's not you know, if that's the only option
Get in
you've
there with your
got,
plastic bag and you mark that branch. So, or you put a little tag on that one branch that's
that's
your,
right.
your sprayed branch. Yep, and then you can cover up
Yeah.
the rest of the plant. Spray your one branch, let it dry. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, like, you know, like then you got to just have a look at that too and see, because you can use the beans from one that's been reversed and then pollinated with itself, and they go well, but then sometimes they don't, right? Because it's a plant that's been put into shock because of the reversal,
Mm.
you know. But if you're, as I said, because it sucks it
Well,
in,
that
and
comes
it
back
doesn't
to Mark
handle
talking
it.
about, like your S1 and R1 and F1s and things, and how many of them
Yep.
are just released and called a strain.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like, you know, how's it done? How was it done? Like,
So if you bomb off 5-pack for, $300 and
I drew a male and a female, and I made beans, and
Yeah,
they
and
caught this.
I don't think anyone, this is a personal opinion, I don't think anyone should be releasing an F1 of other two people's work as their own work. That's just
Oh,
my personal
amen. I'll support that. Yeah.
agreed with that too.
Unless you're trying to preserve like that mix for people to look through, unless you're making a breeder's pack of like two genetics on purpose, and the people,
And
I
that's
don't
to
think you
go
should.
out to other breeders to be
Exactly
hunting
right. Yep.
through, and you're
100%.
giving that back to the people that you took that original cut from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. I don't think
All
you
those
should ever take two and then slap a name on it for yourself and then say, this is mine now, because it's not. You've spent 6 months, if that, just
If that.
putting two things together. You haven't,
Yeah.
yeah. That's personal opinion, yeah.
I made a cross, it'll be nearly 6 years ago now. And because I haven't had a chance to grow them out decently and see
Oh, if
what
only you
they
knew somebody
grow,
that does that.
I won't give them out, not even as testers. Like they mean a lot
I'm the
to
same
me.
as you. I'm
Yeah,
actually the same.
but
I've got plenty here that I'd
Yep.
love to see the result of, but I simply am not. I can't be,
No, I don't
with
want to.
myself. It's
Yeah.
just not. Yeah.
So I'll do them myself eventually, I'll grow 10 and see what they throw out and see if I can, and do the journey that it takes to get what I believe the good in them is, because it was a crossed back auto from Durban poison lineage, and then crossed with a legacy white widow. They were 79 white widows wrecked. So it's working on some really good bases. So it'll be worth it in the end. But yeah, to throw them out now would be to just like waste them, in my opinion. They could throw anything for people. Yeah.
I'd like to add on what I said too. Like, that's just if you're releasing for people to grow themselves, for growers to grow themselves, for people that, if you're just running regs yourself and whatnot,
Yep.
by all means, pollen chuck those. Just make sure you just don't go. I think morally you shouldn't sell them as your own work.
Oh,
But if you're
that's
doing it for
Don't
yourself,
slap
yeah.
a brand on it and call
That's
it.
exactly my
Throw your
point.
own
Yeah.
F1s. That's what I do. Like,
Yeah.
get it all
Or if
together,
I
look
wanna
through
give
yourself,
them
get
to
your friends,
someone,
but make sure people know what's going on there, and it's
exactly.
not just
These are tester beans.
Transparency.
That's what should be written on all of them. Testers.
and not
you
just
know?
testers. They're testers of other people's work that you are just starting with. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
This
just
is what
want to
they
add that on
are,
there.
and that's
Yeah.
what they are.
Yeah.
They're not mine.
Yeah.
This is what they are.
I
Yeah.
do think it's
No,
the
that's
monetary
right. That's
base.
what I said. Like that Freakshow grape, I said that came from over here. I got the very
Yep.
treat where that was just the guy gave me some of those as regs, and like. But then as I said, hunting through the males, finding the right male, finding the right females instead of the auto side, finding the right photo period female.
Yeah.
I wanted to use. Then to just do the F1s there, then hunt through those to find what I was after, looking wise, and then.
And again, that's where
Yeah,
your
those-
F1s differentiate from a lot, because you've actually taken the time to look through and hunt to create those. Whereas a lot of people just go,
that's
oh,
a good
well,
point.
this is that, and this is that, and I'm just going to chuck them over it, and now that's what you've got.
And go on to the next one.
You're also transparent about it too. So that's the big difference.
That's the good stuff. That's the goodness of it all.
Yeah,
Is,
I-
the sharing of the knowledge of where it came
Listen,
from.
people,
how you got there.
come and grow out some more of DragonForce's stuff. I want to see some more of it. I
Yeah,
want to see
amen.
some more people growing it out.
Me too.
Because right here is the proof that he puts the work into it all.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Well said.
a bit more than most people too. Some of the things that the DragonForce is talking about here too is like a bit more in depth. It's not just markers and genetic traits. Like he's thinking about medicine and like the morphology, the growth of the males and things like that. This is important stuff in the end result, especially not just if you're a grower yourself, but if you're a breeder as well.
I was going to say this is really inside a breeder's head, and this is the way that a lot of breeders look at things is a lot differently to someone who would just grow it for flour. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why I talk to some people and I lose them. They're like, what? Oh, that's why it's good to talk to you guys and you understand. I'll talk to a mate of mine and I explain things to him and he's starting to slowly understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. But it's that being around like-minded individuals, isn't it, mate? Like having access to these discords and things like.
Well, as I said to my mates, I said, I'd rather teach a man to fish than give a man a fish.
Yeah, amen.
I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
And you've even gone back to the let's whittle a fishing rod first. That's how in depth you go, Dragon. So it's good knowledge, man.
Well, that's teaching a man to fish, isn't it? Going down to the shop and buying all the stuff isn't teaching a man to fish. It's teaching him how to spend money.
Yeah. Or making money off
this, you
people.
want to know that. You want to learn this, like this is how you do it. There's so many different things. And as I said, some of the stuff I'm only just scratching the surface with myself.
Yeah, but not gatekeeping anything that you've found along the way.
Yeah.
Happy to share.
Sharing. Yeah.
That's right. Happy to. There's been several people that I've helped out with things like whether it's to do with lighting or whether it's to do with watering or even just starting off a being and most medium that comes in the bags has enough moisture level already in them. You don't need to add more water if you're planting straight into medium.
That's something I've never thought too much about.
The added moisture level would only cause rot. And I know that because I've experienced that.
Yeah. That's good for me to hear. I am such an overwaterer. Like, I am shocking, man. Yeah, I love everything with water to the point where I learnt the hard way that they like a dry spell.
I love you, I love you, I love you.
Yeah. Let me love you some more. Yeah. I feel
You're not
good.
teaching them swimming lessons.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, I make mud. Yeah.
I was bad on the watering when I first started. Still am a little bit in the seedling stage, but I started as bad overwatering, and then I've ended up at now underwatering, and now I'm slowly getting it in the middle. I'll get there.
Yeah, you're finding the balance. Yeah.
Well, they're big pots indoors. It's really unusual to get the hang of. It's 117 liters in a sustained environment indoors. It's really strange.
No, see, I just flood. That's why.
I can't erect floorboards.
Well, I hello.
How much water you got to put into a 120 litre pot to get flooding out the bottom when it's really bone dry or not bone dry or like
Well, especially when there's no surfactant involved and when you've got multiple of these pots and you're not paying attention, it takes a while for it to work through and your bottom
Exactly.
layer, it gets out.
That's
you
hard
don't
work,
pay
man.
attention sometimes.
Then all of a sudden it's just pouring out the bottom and you're like, oh shit. Yeah.
I can almost guarantee every one of us on here has done this. We've planted some, we've watered, we've let them sit. Nothing's popped up in a week or two. We plant more in that pot.
Then they all pop up.
And then they all come. Yep. Because there's some that have delayed fuses and they don't sprout straight away because they're not in the right environment at the time.
Yeah.
That had happened more than once.
Yeah.
Whether that's, I say that would be predominantly impatience,
Yeah.
right?
Lack of
You know,
belief in yourself and the bean.
well, they're not sprouting, they're not doing it. Oh, I need to plant more.
Yeah, definitely impatience. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, especially if you're planting straight in, but if you're starting in paper towel method or like what I find easier, and it's just shot glass, bit of water. Whether you want to use boiled water from the kettle that's cooled down so it's less in it, or just mineral water or something, like filtered water, in a shot glass, and just put it in the cupboard. And after a few days, you should get tap roots out of them.
Yeah.
Right. Just letting it float. Don't touch the glass. Don't do anything. Don't tap the seeds down to the bottom.
I do.
Just let them sit on top. Just let them sit on top. That's why I said don't tap the seeds.
Can't help myself. So the hiding in the cupboard is the guts of the story. So you can't see it and touch it and tap
Hide them away so you can't see them. Just make sure you've got a label on that shot glass so you know what's what.
Yeah.
No wonder you had to get other people to sprout your seeds for you. You'd think you're in there bloody playing with the things 24/7.
Opening up a paper towel every 5 minutes. Have you popped yet?
Yeah.
Haven't popped yet?
Yeah, I'm bad for that. I go straight to soil because I think I just bugger around with them too much.
Or put them in the cotton wool. Do they need more water? Yeah.
stuff.
No, I'm doing all right. I have my
So I'm
moments.
interested to see how those the seed germinators, like not all the 3D printed ones, and then these new ones that you stone rue, like those ones, like
Yeah, the ones that Blazing Trail brings in
Yeah,
for
blazing.
us.
Yeah,
sprouts.
I've got one of those and it has changed my life. I don't shot glasses anymore and I've been doing that for 20 years.
So you use the FlexiGerm tank, which is the silicon
It's
one that goes on a
brilliant.
heat mat. Yeah.
Oh, it just sits on my PS4.
That's a
Oh,
great
beautiful.
idea.
I
Yeah, I'm
love that.
just about to pop these crystal clusters for the bonsai event, so they'll go in that. Yeah, it's brilliant. It really is. It's just that because it's such a perfect environment. Once you've got a little bit of moisture in there, they love it. We've got tap roots in 24 hours.
I don't know what it is.
is that the one that black one where it slides apart? Like, is
No,
that
it's
the
not
one?
it's not the one that plugs in. It's just a silicon molded one. It's got 6 spots in it. So I can I drop a couple of beans into each particular one. So you could do mega amounts. Like, it's honestly, I could do one with just 2 of the things in it would be big enough, but it's quite a big thing.
I'll send you down a FlexiGerm, Dragon, and you can tell me what you think.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be awesome. You'd love it. You'd absolutely love it.
I believe the black one you're talking about is the Sprout, which is also through Blazing Trail as well. The one that plugs in, maintains temperature and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
by the
I
same
think
person. Just one's are electric and one's just the 3D printed or silicon. I'm not really sure what it is. Blazing would know.
Yeah, Blazing's
silicon molded.
FlexiGerm's a silicon mold. Yeah, sorry.
No, but
Oh, nice. Yeah, because I've seen the 3D printed ones when some other company had it with the card and all that, so you could write on the numbers like what was what and what was in what channel,
Yeah, there's a couple of them about. So this is
Yeah,
essentially the same idea, but just a lot more scientifically refined, let's say.
It's got airflow and everything. Yeah, Blazing
does nice.
That's
So yeah,
silicon,
instead of
like,
being
molding.
filled, it does nice, and an airflow through it. So yeah, no, well that's
You'll get to
interesting.
talk in a
So
minute,
that's
maybe.
like that. Like the similar idea to leaving them sitting on top of the water gives that level of oxygen that sits above the water and there. So you got that part and then the oxygen there. So that'd be a similar concept, right?
Yeah, essentially, and the silicon one, especially, I guess, for the Australian environment, it's been designed to repel heat in the summers, and in conjunction with a heat mat in winter, it pretty much just like maintains that consistent environment like all year round, as best as it can for an unheated, module, which is where our sprouts come in for the colder climates. They really kind of get out of the garden there, and yeah, the flexi they'll save you 4 or 5 degrees Celsius in summer just passively, by repelling heat, and in winter they'll just absorb everything pretty much perfectly up until 27, 28 degrees, and just hold it there.
That'll come in good because we get get minuses here. As I said, we get up near 40 sometimes, and also get minuses when it's cold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
like
reckon sprout one would be the go of for the cold, because like I've got it on the PS4 now, the other one, but it'd be good to have it's good that you've got a module that has the heating element inside it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, the sprouts are really good. Definitely a good
Yeah.
bit of kit.
Yeah. Good bit of kit.
Because I'm just flipping it on top of the old modem or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the
Yeah, same.
well,
Yeah,
as
this is
you
just a
said,
dedicated environment
Yeah.
specifically for it. So yeah,
Mm.
absolutely do
nice.
love them.
You
Um,
will love it.
I'm going to get some closing thoughts. We're going to try and wrap up here because I think we're at nearly coming into 3 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yep.
So I'm going to get some closing thoughts from you, Dragon, on where do you think Australia's breeding future is heading? Or where would you like to see it head?
Oh, that's a very interesting question, that one. I would say, like, having more availability here within Australia instead of relying on bringing in, like, it's good to have other things from overseas, and that's great as well. But having more availability here and being more self-reliant in Australia, like to
Yeah, beautiful.
just
That's what we want to
be
hear.
here, have it here. Like we've started from these things that have come from over there, and we've made them and done all this, and it needs more focus here.
Yeah.
Right, and because that's the thing these days, isn't it? A lot of things aren't Australian anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
this is something we can control ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have to, we can control keeping our genetics over here. We don't have to eat this stuff. We don't have to bring it from overseas because we'll starve, things like that. This is something we have power over. Well said.
Correct.
Well said,
Yeah.
DragonForce.
I like
And
it.
everything we do here is creating that, so that's good. Yeah.
As I said, it's great to get the precursors to have things here
Yeah.
from overseas,
Yep.
but then taking that and making it something completely different that's unique to here as well.
And workable to our environment. Yeah.
That's right. And
Yeah.
and that can thrive in this environment and different environments as well.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's that many different climates within Australia,
Mm.
from Tasmania all the way up to the top end. Right.
Yeah.
Also,
You know?
I have another take on that economically too, guys. Like, if you're getting Aussie genetics and you're helping Aussies out, that's staying within us.
Yeah.
We're all helping ourselves.
That's
By
it.
helping us, we're helping you. We're all helping each other. If you're getting genetics brought in, or you're buying stuff from overseas and not from Aussies and things like that, your money's not exactly helping you grow later on. It's not going to the local grow shop, or it's not going to the pioneers. So that's just
Yeah.
a point I wanted to make on that too.
You know, like one of the things and this would have been, so probably around 17 years ago, maybe a bit longer. I had the thought of wanting to do the breeding side of things, and I didn't even know how to do all this before that. It was wanting to do the breeding and stuff, but it'd be where it would be internally done. The grows would be done there. The breeding would be done there. Everything would be done there. It wouldn't be outsourced and coming from overseas. Everything would be done there, but not as a bigger sense, more of a smaller scale and have different things, but being everything was done and self-contained. Right.
Yeah, self-sufficiency, like for all of us, and being like regenerative gardening. It's like that, but on like an economical level where we're keeping it all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right. And that was the thought, not going to the point of being a like for big pharmaceutical stuff. Not in that aspect, because that's where it loses what it is.
Yeah.
It's no longer about trying to
Lost its soul, mate.
keep it exactly. It's
Lost its
not
legacy.
what it is.
Yeah, it's
not what
soul
it
and
is.
its legacy, and
Yeah.
this flower is soul. So
It's old.
Yeah.
It's very old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doing that that's just pumping out. There's no love behind it.
No,
None.
there's no
Not
medicinal
at all.
value behind it either. It's just
It
a
helps
home.
certain people. It helps certain people in a certain aspect, but otherwise, no, it really doesn't.
No, they can get off
Right.
and forget their problems. That's about it, man.
Like, who'd have thought that you'd be going? And this, I said to someone, I said, who'd have thought you'd be going to your local pharmacy to go and score your weed?
Yeah.
That wasn't even a thought. Right. Scripts from doctors and stuff like none of this was known.
well,
Right.
you just jump online and order it now, don't you? And then you get your subscription service box to your door, your Hello Fresh for weed, and you get your monthly samples. And
Yeah. And your doctor's never met you. They've just talked to you on the telephone.
yeah,
Yeah. If you call it
and he says, "Do you need cannabis?" And you say, "Yes," and he goes, "Okay, you're
Yeah.
fit."
Yeah, but there is still some people that are struggling, even when they do need it. They're still struggling, and
Of
I
course, 'cause
spoke
they're
to
not getting
someone
what they
earlier
need,
today.
mate. They're
They're
just
not
getting
getting
whatever
what
they
they
can get
also-
off the shelf.
No.
going bankrupt for it, might I add.
Yeah.
Some of these people that have no other avenues and are going through this prescription. Yeah, it's this subscription program.
Yeah.
$300 for 10 grams.
It's disgusting what they're doing. It makes me up there, and then
Just
Yeah.
the feedback from someone who has used medical versus then someone
used it.
who uses homegrown, home loved, and it's like you just hear the exhale. It's like I didn't realize what I was missing. I am
Actually,
finally getting some relief.
I got
Like,
some
it's
feedback on that.
Yeah, it's
I have a person. It's you're 100% correct, Tink, and I like that you brought that up because it reminded me perfectly. I have somebody that buys medical as well, as well as
Yep.
sources things elsewhere, and his mother, she was on medical and she stopped smoking because of her lungs.
Yep.
And she enjoyed it. She enjoyed sitting down with her son and having a joint. And now she's smoking again because my stuff doesn't make her cough.
That's exactly
Yeah,
it. It'll
yeah.
actually help ease her lung issues rather than make it worse.
Yeah, no, it's
It's crazy. Yeah. She also needs some mullen, mate. Sorry, she needs mullen. Yeah. Bless the
You would
heart.
like
So they like this medical wise, like and some are too strong, some are too, like it all depends, like what it's been done, how it's been grown, everything like that. Like I said, I was talking to someone earlier, they're on medical, but they've just been getting bad headaches from it.
Big
Like,
time.
and
What gives me migraines and makes me cough. Like I get it. because I want
migraines.
So I'll put in an order once every 6 months just so that I get something out of the scripts because they expire every 6 months. But I do that as a backup so I can be out in public and go, fuck you, I'm allowed to have this. And I have no problems with that. But it's also too, I've had the theory, because it was the same with my work many years ago, I can have more understanding firsthand if I'm actually in there and using it and making my own opinion. And I've gone down to a low rod. There's only one company I'll go through, even with what I get. But it's so disappointing because the reactions I get from it, in using it, the headaches, the migraines, the throat, it gets sore, it gets hard to breathe. This is all really, really concerning. I knew when they started making medical that so many are just going to want to try and make a hard drug. And they proved me right, 28, 30%, and all of
And only
this.
THC. Only
And only
THC.
THC. So,
Headaches
okay,
don't come from good things. Headaches don't just
yeah,
appear for no reason. Like
yeah,
you're spot on. And also a lot of it comes from overseas. Like I'm sure, as I've heard, we have very talented, very passionate legal Australian growers, but I
yeah,
think if that happens to be the case, we need to be, there needs to be some action taken to get rid of the imported stuff that's all stale and everything like that. And
yeah,
I'll give props that the medical side and having the prescription program has allowed a lot of people. And as you said, you have the script so that you can go shove it in people's face and go,
yeah,
"Fuck you! This is
yeah,
legal. This the laws
yeah. I'll
that
play
bind
this,
you." Yeah, and that's
work.
the it's
Yeah,
the same reason that
yeah,
my friend's mother buys it as well. And
yeah.
some people aren't allowed it when they work, and
Well,
now
some
they
people
are.
can't
So
grow and they
yeah,
can't
Well,
access legal.
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
when we touch on that, there's another discussion I had with other people that I know. Like, was now they've got the ability to be able to test your blood alcohol level within breathing into an apparatus. Now, why can't they make something similar that can detect how much cannabinoids are in your system?
I suppose.
Yeah, but even then, it's still got to be impairment because my cannabinoid
Well,
load
it's an
would be
impairment.
massive compared to someone,
Yes.
and I
But
could
then
be not
yours could
affected
be
at all.
heaps high like that, but then it'll only read at a certain level. Like, like they
Which is
allow a
why I say
certain
I think
amount
it's
of
got to be
alcohol in
impairment.
someone's system when they're driving a vehicle. That you're still impaired, even if you've had a few beers. You're already impaired.
Yeah, but
Right.
I can have one light beer and I'll be woozy. I won't feel
because he's
good in
not
the
a
head.
drinker.
I'm not a
Yeah,
drinker.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
what I
My
mean.
body will react completely different to someone who has a beer every day after work.
yeah,
And how do you
Yeah,
dose
that's
that
right.
as well? How do you dose that? You've got beers that have strengths and percentages in there. This is one standard drink. This is every cultivar, every clone, every plant, even individually on an epigenetic and
They're all
chemotype level of
different.
phenotype. They're all different. So how
Correct.
it's such a terrible way to apply, such an old school method to apply to such a modern.
So you can only detect presence, not
level.
Well, presence is fine.
level.
So you detect presence and then you do an impairment test. So you get them out to do a roadside impairment test. You count, buddy, 1 to 10 and backwards, and you do your
Yeah,
alphabet and you do your walking with your hand on your nose and all that shit. And if you can do all of that, then you're not impaired or impaired to a point where you shouldn't be driving. Then I feel that should be the test.
Is there a legal impairment limit for opioids, medicinal opioids? So say I have a script
No.
because I have a really bad back. No, so if I'm impaired, how do they deduce that? They get
Well,
me
that's
out of the
right.
car and they make me do a test to see if I am impaired by this drug, if I have abused
yeah,
it.
whatever.
Exactly. So
That's
there's nothing
exactly
stopping me
right.
being a methadone addict and going
You
down
got
to the
mm-hmm.
chemist and sculling my methadone in the car and then driving
Yeah,
home.
Yeah,
exactly right. There's no sort of, how can you? There's also no standard for any other medicinal thing. We have it in the category it's in, but there's no. Yeah, we
Correct.
don't. Yeah,
The
anyway,
only measurable measure is impairment, in
I
my
agree.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and only
they
measuring
do
for THC
presence and
doesn't help
then
either.
No, because you can get all these cultivars that, all this medical crap that says 33% and, 28%. And then you have a look down and it might be 22% THC and it's, so many percent this and it's percent this. And then they're adding it all up and just calling it THC percentage or total
Yeah.
cannabinoid percentage. But it's not even.
And what about a truck driver? What about a truck driver that has it for his pain? What if he cannot drive and supply for his family unless he is under some form of pain suppressant or painkiller or something like that, and he does not want to be out on those roads.
I'd
popping
prefer him to
oxys.
have, yeah, exactly. I'd prefer him
I'd
to
prefer
have
a
had
joint
a
out of his
joint,
mouth.
exactly, yeah, than an endone, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. And I'm not convinced that medical has a very long life. You know, I
No.
don't
Already
believe.
at the end of its life when you get it.
Well, yeah, when it says, you know, they have a 2-year shelf life or something on the
Oh.
expiry date.
Yeah, because they've irradiated the crap out of it, so there's nothing left to
Exactly.
go mouldy. There's no
So
reason.
my point is that I
May as
don't.
well be a can of baked beans.
Yeah, I don't even think you need the X amount of hours or whatever before it's out of your system. I don't, because I don't think you stay stoned for very long. It doesn't. You have a smoke and you're like ready for another one within half an hour.
I know what you're talking about, Tink. I've been stoned for the last 21 years.
Me too, man. What's a tolerance, bro?
I've only had one tolerance break, and it wasn't by choice. I was actually trying to get employment,
Yeah.
and I was
20
drying
years
my
ago,
stuff
actually.
at the time.
Yeah.
Always finances and access, and
Yeah.
when you're on medical, and it's two people sharing one person's medical, so that you don't have to.
Oh, that's not good.
It's wild.
I did notice though, I had that actually gave me a bit of a giggle because that's like the latest warnings on the medicals is you need to take a tolerance break. Be aware that it's very healthy to take a tolerance break.
Oh yeah, we're not. Okay,
They'll stop
definitely
short of
take
calling it
those.
addictive, though.
They can't say it. Yeah, they
No, they
can't.
can't, because it isn't.
There's nothing else they can put on there. You can't get your
Fucking
24
hilarious.
sheets of side effects because there are none. But they'll make it
Yeah.
into a plant that gives you some side effects. I believe that's their goal.
They're making
Yeah.
efforts in America to already do that when it's going to be clone only legally. There's not going to be
Yeah.
no seeds transfer. I mean, you look at the facilities, some American states, the facilities, I can't speak for Australia because I'm completely ignorant on the subject, but some American facilities are only able to trade in clones. Some states amongst themselves, some have to order their in. And this is where it gets wild. They're not allowed seeds, but some of them can order clones in, irrelevant of where. Just as, you're just allowed to get clones.
It's bullshit, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
The politics of it all.
money. It's an interesting
Yeah.
thing.
And then there's the special non-disclosures as well, where seeds can, or cultivars and cuts can work their way into factories
Yeah.
and facilities without having to
Yes.
be properly declared. So,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of little loopholes and ways around things.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. The world.
I think
keeps-
this chat could go on forever and
Yeah.
ever, guys. I'm really enjoying it, but we've got to keep it listenable for people too. So
Yeah, it might end up a two-parter. This
Not paid out.
yeah, maybe we might have to come back and revisit you here, Dragon. Might get you
Yeah,
back
sounds
on for
good.
another chat, mate, because this has been a really good one.
Appreciate it.
Thanks
What I'm
for
going to
sharing
do,
your
though,
knowledge too.
yeah,
Thanks
definitely.
for actually doing it. People aren't. A lot of the old schools, as you mentioned, don't want to share any of their knowledge because, we're saying a lot of this knowledge is based off the new stuff. Well, that's because a lot of the old fellas aren't stepping forward and sharing it with some of us new people. So some of us new people.
And
Yeah,
it's these
so-
conversations that are going to change that up for Australia. I think that's where we're lacking is conversations. So this has been real encouraging, and I know other people are going to be encouraged by it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't wait for the next one. Definitely can't wait
Yeah.
for the next one.
Absolutely beautiful. So thanks again, Dragon, for joining us, mate, and we'll definitely get you back again.
Yeah,
Thank you
sounds
to my
good.
team and crew for joining us
Always a
tonight.
Bless you all.
What an
And,
incredible chat. Thanks, Dragon.
It was indeed.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
I'd like to extend one last massive thank you to our buddy DragonForce for making this chat possible. And for everyone else, that's our time today. But before you hop off into the wild, it's time for that little ritual that every podcaster loves to fear. The ads. Don't worry, these ones are worth your ears. Let's see what our magic sponsors have whipped up. This episode of the Terpene Table is brought to you by Growers Pal. Aussie legends when it comes to keeping your clones safe in transit. If you've ever tried to post a cutting, wrapped in wet paper towel and cling wrap, you'll know it's a gamble at best. Growers Pal clone shippers take the guesswork out of it. Purpose built with segmented compartments to keep your genetics snug, and even a little LED light to keep them happy on the road. Whether they're headed up the coast or across the country, you can trust your prize cuts will land fresh, not fried. They're mates of the Roo and they're mates of the Discord, so you know their growers looking out for you, not just trying to sell you something. Head over to growerspower.com.au. That's www.growerspal.com.au and sort yourself out with a proper kit for moving your genetics across the country. Because good clones deserve a fair dinkum safe ride.
At Blazing Trail, we're on a joyful adventure celebrating life, love, and nature's beauty. We cultivate vibrant outdoor connections, foster community collaborations, and source wholesome treasures like our Sprout seed starter for precise, energy-efficient germination, and FlexiGerm silicon seed pods for sustainable, airflow-enhanced sprouting. All with the care for our world. Join us in blazing a sustainable trail filled with laughter and magic. Visit blazingtrail.com.au.
While we're on the subject of good gear, I'm going to give a cheeky shout out to my own spot, the Wild Vault. It's packed with glass, gadgets, and grow gear, all the little treasures that make your sesh just that bit sweeter. So, if you're looking for something fresh to add to your kit, swing by thewildvault.xyz and have a sticky beak. It's basically a toy box for grown-up stoners. And hey, if it's genetics you're chasing, head over to our mates at wildrootcultivars.com and check out what they've got cooking. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time at the Terpene Table.